What's up there, Sparky?
Blessed morning to you guys.
Blessed morning back at you, dog.
Cap and Haugh.
I'm going 7-9 because I don't want to subject anybody to 1-15.
Is this just fear of handling Cap every Monday? I don't want to.
Oh, my gosh. He was already talking yesterday about the first time Cutler throws 3 interceptions against the Packers, and he come in after losing 54-13.
Okay, just calm down.
Well, he called me yesterday, and he talked to Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, my God.
Oh, did you see that?
At the airport. 9 wins from Ashton Kutcher.
That's so funny. The last time I heard that, I laughed so hard I fell off my dinosaur.
Can you imagine him if he sits down on the plane after talking to Cap for 5 or 10, 15 minutes in the security line, and he thinks he's like, okay, phew, that guy talked my ear off in the line, and here comes Cap. He's sitting next to him. This is going to be fun.
At the Catman on Twitter.
You like the Cubs, too?
Have you heard my mantra? 1 pitch, 1 out, 1 game.
I know.
A lot of people are texting on the mantra.
I know Crane Kenny.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
From the 7th floor of the Tribune Towers.
Boy, this has been tremendously tremendous.
Downtown Chicago.
Colchik scores! Beauty!
Come on, sucker.
He is moving like a tremendous machine.
Let's get it on.
It's the Cap and Haugh Show.
Everyone has to do their job.
We're going to ball until we fall.
That's a shot and a beer.
Do your job.
That's the Hazleton way.
Let's begin now.
Yes!
Good morning. Welcome in. Cap and Haugh on the air, Comcast Sportsnet, and WGN Plus. He's the lead columnist for the Tribune. He's David Haugh. I'm David Kaplan. The Jacko Mike Jacobson, our executive producer. Matt Rooney, our associate producer. Pat Castell, PG-13, our director. Morning, buddy.
Morning, Cap. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Big weekend.
Yeah.
Big triumphant return from the West Coast for the Cubs. Jake Arrieta saved the weekend for Chicago sports.
Awesome. How
badly did the Cubs need that? It's the best 2-4 West Coast road trip ever, huh?
It is.
I mean, now it's like the 4-game losing streak never happened. National television. Big statement by a guy who's going to get Cy Young consideration. There's still a month to go. Mm-hmm. He's every bit in the middle of that. Mm-hmm. Masterful, dominant, fun team. Turn the lights out on the Dodgers. Put on a onesie. And had the pajama party of his life flying home.
Oh, it had to be awesome.
That had to be fun.
By the way, here are the playoff odds from Fangraphs. I give them every morning.
Yeah.
So here you go. The Chicago Cubs playoff odds report is now up to 94.5%.
I think that's a pretty safe percentage. You feel very good about things.
Yep.
And you know what you feel very good about even better now than maybe you did before the no-hitter? First of all, let's silence the debate. There is no debate. Game 163, whatever you call it, the play-in game, the wild card.
Based on the information we have today,
yes,
it's Jake Arrieta.
Based on any information, what's going to change?
I mean, God forbid,
injury.
Health. You don't know what the next month holds.
All things being equal.
All things being equal. Based on right now, Jake Arrieta gets the start.
You feel very good about your chances against anybody with that guy on the mound right now.
And you'll be facing a guy who's also good in Garrett Cole.
Yes. Who's better than Jake Arrieta right now?
Nobody.
Mr.
He's right there.
Mr. Zero.
This year,
look at this.
In the National League.
Mr. Zero. I like that headline.
That's a pretty good headline.
Yeah.
You got.
So is blank script. Equal time.
That's
my
pretty
guys.
good too.
My guys.
Pretty good too. You got. Let's see. Arrieta, Scherzer, Greinke, Kershaw. Those are probably the 4 guys that will get most of the Cy Young consideration.
Greinke is the guy.
Well, Chris Kamka ran all the analytics. Mm-hmm. From Comcast, our guy, the Cruncher. He says the number 1 candidate, hands down, is Kershaw.
Interesting month to go. I think you just savor the moment. Another magical night for the Cubs. And Cap, I mean, when your guy is dealing like that, you just had a sense after 5 innings this was going to be one of those nights. And it was fun to watch on TV. It was fun to get the perspective, certainly from the national broadcast and appreciation for what the Cubs are doing. Joe Madden in-game interview with ESPN, as relaxed as can be.
Was that unbelievable?
That was
Don
so
Mattingly had to do it between innings.
Yeah.
Joe Madden, while the game's going on.
He's commenting on I think Addison Russell hit a liner to left.
Oh, that one might get out.
That sounded good or something to that effect. Like he's providing analysis as it happens. It is the best. And I know, look, and Paul Sullivan wrote a great column in this morning's Tribune about listening to Pat Hughes describe on radio the no-hitter, and nobody does it better than Pat Hughes. But I think that last night was just, for a baseball fan, for a Chicago sports fan, one of those nights you're going to remember.
It was awesome.
And it was much needed, Cap, because this has been one heck of a weekend. Since we left here, you were in Vegas, and since I left here, the show Friday with the Carm, a lot's gone on. Walked out the door. Illinois fires his football coach. Goodness sakes, we'll get to that. We have Shannon Ryan at 10:55. We'll get to Illinois and all their dysfunction. They fire the football coach on Friday. Mm-hmm. You take care of all that. You get all that dealt with. Saturday, the Bears go down to Cincinnati.
And get eviscerated.
I have to look that up, but I'll agree with you. It sounds bad.
It was not good.
It was not good. And, boy, wouldn't you just love Mr. Cutler, critic, I won't say hater, critic, if we were sitting here on August 31st and the biggest issue for the Bears was their quarterback? Wouldn't you just love that?
Yeah.
He's not even in the top 5.
Not even.
He's not even in the top 5.
Okay, here are my issues for the Bears. I watched, the game, I think twice yesterday. Ran through it
Why
twice.
would you do that to yourself?
Not the entire, every play, but certainly the first,
Thank you, sir. May have another.
Yeah, it was brutal. So I was at the Foo Fighters concert on Saturday night, but I watched.
Foo Fighters,
I was
man.
at Vines across the street. Phenomenal spot. And my boy Guff and I are watching the game. And it doesn't look good. We're watching it, having a couple drinks. I get home yesterday. I'm watching Brett and I he wanted to watch the game, so we watch it. I go back through it again. O-line is a real problem.
Offensive tackle has become a problem position because Jermon Bushrod doesn't look healthy.
And the right tackle is not good.
And he doesn't look ready. As I wrote, Jermon Bushrod can't be healthy, and the Bears can't be serious on the right side.
Right.
Because that's not an NFL-ready offensive tackle. Okay.
O-line, big problem.
Number one, to me, too.
That's an issue.
You can't run the ball the way you want to run the ball with that offensive line.
Okay, number 2 issue for me, wide receiver core.
Not me. Defensive line depth for me.
That's number 3 for me. So we're right in the same ballpark. Defensive backfield. I mean, do they have one?
Same issues, same crimes, different suspects.
And I guess I could throw Jay in 5th, but
no,
I don't even think he belongs there.
Not even there.
And for me, the biggest Jay critic in town,
how about the linebackers? Shea McClellan and Christian Jones have a sign in their back saying, pick on me.
So I'm listening to Biggs coming in this morning. He was on Mully and Hanley.
He does that show.
He does.
Biggs time.
Occasionally. It's Biggs time. Anyway, I wonder if he wears the blue shades.
He does. He's got a pair of those.
While he's doing that.
Very good.
Biggs said that he was talking to a scout. He wouldn't say who, from another team.
He's got deep contacts.
He does. Biggs is as connected as they are. As they come. He said that the scout said to him, Christian Jones and Shea McClellan, he goes, at best, they're backup players. Yeah. At best. He goes, and they're your 2 best guys.
There's a sense of inevitability that started to creep in Saturday night when you're watching. Just as they had begun to maybe inch toward respectability against the Colts, they do that against the Bengals. And it takes you back to a year ago after the Seahawks' 3rd exhibition game when they were embarrassed. And it was a precursor to a season that was forgettable and terrible. You wonder where this is headed. But you don't have anything to really grasp onto. They're boring. They're bad. They're the Bears.
I think that this team is less talented than last year's team, but I don't think it will become the clown show that last year did in the locker room, which we've had many of the
I would agree with that totally,
say.
Cap, and I would agree with that. And I think yesterday you started to see some semblance of the new sheriff in town mentality. Tim Jennings, cut. You can't tell me, while I understand the NFL way of doing business, you can't tell me the Bears have 5 cornerbacks better than Tim Jennings. Really. I know that he was coming off a bad year. I know that he didn't dazzle anybody in this preseason. But you aren't going anywhere with the cornerbacks currently on your roster. Kyle Fuller, okay. Alan Ball, stay on the field. Tim Jennings was making a lot of money. That was part of it. Now, he has offset language in his contract. If he signs another deal, obviously that will come off the money the Bears owe him. He's still a cap hit. But I don't really buy the fact that he's that good enough to make this roster. But it is part of a transitional phase where you weed out the players who represent the past.
All right, so Tim Jennings gone.
Yeah.
Ryan Mundy to long-term IR, done for the year, so probably ending his Bears career because this is the last year of his deal. So you got those issues. You got question marks at linebacker. You got depth issues up front. You got Jeremiah Ratliff suspended for 3 games, and he's dealing with an ankle problem that might have kept him out week 1 anyway. Because he got hurt. Luckily, he didn't break it.
Eddie Goldman with a concussion.
John Fox went through that. We got this one with this and this. I'm like, when's the list going to stop? He just kept going and going.
I think John Fox, that wrote this morning, Cap, is finding out what long-term means.
Right.
That's the process under which he's working right now in trying to get this Bears team back to respectability.
Do you see any similarity? Now, the Cubs hired Dale Swaim, who had never done it. John Fox, a proven quality head coach. Between Ryan Pace and his crew coming in and Theo and Jed taking over the Cubs and going, really?
No.
Cubs looked at it and went, whoa, this thing is a train wreck.
I can see why you'd want to make that comparison. Young executive, bright executive. Theo Epstein had credibility coming in.
But I'm talking about the situation that they inherited. Worse than they realized when they got in.
No, because I don't really. I understand what you're trying to point you're making, but I don't really like comparing the NFL with Major League Baseball. I think that Major League Baseball tends to be a lot more gradual in your approach. You have to start over. It's going to take more time. Hey, look, as bad as the Bears are, Cap, I do believe that there are only a couple. You can turn things around more quickly in the NFL than you can in Major League Baseball.
All right, we're going to play this again later because you deserve props. I want to play something.
If I were Tim Jennings, I might be a little nervous. I might come into camp thinking I have to play at a high level to justify my role here because I don't know how I fit in this defense. I don't know how I fit with this coaching staff, and I'm a guy coming off a bad year. If I'm Tim Jennings, that would be my surprise veteran to keep an eye on.
That's July 30, just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
That was you.
Yeah, I remember.
Nostra Haugh.
I remember alluding to that. I texted Mike yesterday, but they are very good in finding that. Yeah. I didn't remember exactly what I said.
Keep a show log.
Yeah, that's very good. This radio stuff I'm catching on. Look, that was just almost a sense of more acceptance of when you have transitional phases that go on in the NFL. Guys are identified as guys that don't fit, and I think Tim Jennings was identified early on as one who didn't. He had the problems in the offseason. But anyway, Cap, to get all this back to the full circle, that was the context under which we entered yesterday, Chicago sports fans. You needed last night. You needed Jake Arrieta to look like the man who couldn't be hit, the big bearded fella who was bringing the heat.
He was unbelievable.
In the L.A.
How filthy was his breaking stuff?
And what Dodger
Slider
Stadium.
Was dirty.
The Dodgers, the best team money can buy. No hit for the second time in 10 days. Big Jake putting out his onesie after the game. That's a moment. That's a moment from the summer you're never going to forget.
And we didn't get a Vin Scully or a Len Casper call on it. That would have been sweet, too. Hey, get the ultimate experience with the all-new Samsung Curve 4K Ultra HD TV app in Glenview. The Samsung 4K Curved Ultra HD. You get the fastest internet and smart TV functions available. Come in the app today. ABT. See the complete selection of Samsung electronics. Or call them at 847-544-2228. 847-544-2228. For complete satisfaction, free delivery, and a better experience, shop where we shop. It's app. ABT. App.com. S for the one and only, the great Steve Shapiro. Pleasing people since 1936.
Sox walk-off, too.
Yeah. Tyler Saladino gets it done. And I have a question for you. Ponder, chew on this while we go to break.
Okay.
Jake Arrieta is not a free agent till 2 more seasons, going into 18. Do you sign him to a long-term extension now or go, hey, man, it's business. I'm giving you a 1-year deal. I know how fragile pitching arms can be. I'll give you your $20 million or 18 or whatever it is you're going to get, but I'm only doing a 1-year deal and then another 1-year deal. Think about that. We'll talk about it with you. 312-235-2525. Cap and Haugh, I'll be right back.
Cap and Haugh on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by Horowitz & Associates, Illinois' top personal injury lawyers.
For 7 years, I was an iron worker here in Chicago until I fell and lost the use of my limbs. The construction company tried to blame me. They said the accident was my fault. But Cliff Horowitz knew the truth, and he proved it in court. I wound up winning a $64 million verdict, the largest in Illinois history. Some people say all lawyers are the same. They're wrong. Cliff Horowitz got my family the whole justice we deserve.
Horowitz & Associates. We fight for working people.
Cliff Horowitz fights for working people.
Well, here it's fine. If you motorcycle. Great rates for great rides.
Apt, Chicagoland's #1 destination for the perfect home. See the largest selection of appliances on display. If you need a new refrigerator, range, washer dryer, dishwasher, or want to remodel your entire kitchen, we have everything you need to make your dream home come to life. For free home delivery, professional installation, and a better experience, shop Apt. Pleasing people since 1936.
And here we go, folks.
It's your favorite hot dog bun, mustard, and overpriced watered-down beer.
Are you sure you want to eat all that? Because you already weigh more than your team's batting average.
Let's just toast to our anniversary. Oh, no, it's corked.
Let's just watch the game. I tweeted all of your friends to come over, but I guess no one showed up, just like at Mobile Phone Park.
That's okay. I invited one of your friends, too.
There's a long drive, and it's out of here.
Give a real anniversary gift this year. Escape to the Champagne Lodge in Willowbrook, just 25 minutes southwest of Chicago.
B-Dubs just got more obsessed with beer. They're featuring items like the Oktoberfest Beer Cheese Dippers. It's got tortilla chips, pretzel bites, and kettle chips, all ready to be dipped in Samuel Adams' Oktoberfest Beer Cheese Dip. Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, sports. Comcast Sportsnet, your home for Chicago Cubs baseball.
With a new Joe, a new team, a new state of mind, this just might be your year, Cubs fans. And to celebrate, we've upped our Twitter game, and you should too. We're stacked with game time updates, fast fan reactions, instant scores, and exclusives from insider Patrick Mooney. Share all your own favorite boys in blue moments with @CSN Cubs. And we'll keep an eye out.
It's Cap and Haugh.
And he's done it. He strikes out the side in the 9th inning. And Jake Arrieta has thrown his first career no-hitter. What a masterful performance by Arrieta tonight. The 6th no-hitter thrown in the majors this year. There was 1 error, there was 1 walk, there were 12 overpowering strikeouts tonight from Arrieta. And the Cubs snap their losing streak, and Arrieta makes some history here at Dodger Stadium.
I mean, it went by so quick, really. I don't know. Feels like that could have been just, 5 innings, the way it kind of played out. Stuff was good, commanded the ball well. And that's it. I don't know. That's kind of speechless right now.
Jake Arrieta, the call from Dan Shulman, ESPN, Sunday Night Baseball. That was supposed to be a CSN game yesterday afternoon that Holly and I'd be doing posts on. ESPN took the thumb and went, we're taking the national.
Do you think, and it's impossible to know this,
Cap and Haugh continues.
Do you think you would have thrown the no-hitter in the afternoon, though? Don't you really think that the national spotlight, prime time,
amped them up?
And I know it wasn't prime time in Southern California. I mean, you could see that early on with the shadows and everything. But don't you think that knowing everybody in baseball, that's a showcase game, right?
Correct.
Don't you think that had something to do with a guy that looks like he relies on adrenaline for a lot of what he accomplishes?
But he doesn't get overly demonstrative.
No, but you can tell.
He's intense.
I don't know that he throws a no-hitter in the afternoon. Not to rain on your parade. That would have been great to have CSN Chicago.
I think he might have thrown a perfect game.
Okay, let's get to that, because a lot of people have chimed in already about the Starlin Castro play. Mm-hmm. And when you saw it happen in real time, my first reaction, Cap, was I did wonder. To me, it wasn't a clear-cut error. I wondered if, that was sharply enough hit to be called a hit. But I can't say that when it was ruled an error, I thought, oh boy, that's really going to mar this experience for me. I'm going to watch it and have an asterisk in my head. But I do think it's very interesting to look back at now. Even Jake Arrieta, in his interview with ESPN post-game right away, mentioned that he thought it was a hit. But you didn't. You thought it was an error.
From the get-go, as soon as they hit it, I said, that's an error. I said to my wife, and she's not a Castro fan, she goes, that's absolutely an error. He should feel that. He's a major league second baseman.
Do you think it affected how people had their opinion about whether that was a hit or an error based on their polarizing
if that had
opinion
been Roberto,
on Castro?
If that had been Roberto Alomar in his prime, people would have gone, it's got to be a hit.
Right.
That could have played into it, maybe. He's made some pretty good plays over at second. Got to give credit where credit's due.
If ever Cubs fans were happy about a Starlin Castro error, it is this morning.
No question. I thought it was an error from the get-go. Now, Before the show started, full disclosure, I called a guy who does scoring in Major League Baseball, who I've known for a long time, and I said to him, hit or error? He goes, hit. He said the way that they were taught 2 years ago in Major League Baseball when they had their big official scorers meeting is if a ball takes a hop.
I'm just imagining that meeting, that room.
A lot of polyester.
Okay.
A lot of polyester. It's like a sports writers meeting. Hard ground ball takes a hop and comes up. If it hits you above the waist, it's a hit. If you boot it below the waist, it means it stayed down enough, it's an error.
It hit Castro above the waist, right?
That's what he believed.
I mean, looking at the replays, I'm just mentally trying to remember it, but it was above the waist.
I think it was above the waist. I think it was like right in here.
So that would have been a hit by those standards.
Right. This guy who's been an official scorer at some different events has said that was a hit.
I think it's fun to talk about. It's great to debate. It doesn't matter. Historically, it doesn't matter. People aren't going to remember that. All they're going to remember is the fact that this was no fluke. This wasn't like one guy get called up from AAA or a journeyman that has a 6 ERA and he's going on the mound and he relied on that to get his no-hitter. This is a guy who is on a historic pace. The last time a pitcher in Major League Baseball had 6 wins in the month of August with an ERA as low as Jake Arrieta's 0.43. Jim Cott, 1974.
Pretty amazing.
For who?
Minnesota
Chicago White Sox.
Was he a White Sox pitcher then?
I
knew he
was
pitched
the
for the Sox. 312-235-2525. So I asked you a question to chew on at the break.
Right.
Okay. After this season, you own the rights to Jake Arrieta for all of 16 and all of 17. He's a free agent before 18. He's 29. He'll be 30 before opening day next year. Would you sign Jake Arrieta to a 5-year, $125 million deal? Or would you say, hey, man, I'm going to reward you, whatever, let's come to a number here, 16, 18, 20 million, whatever it is, and we'll give it to you for 1 year. Let's see you do it again.
And then what happens at the end of next year? Then he's on a 1-year deal and he could approach free agency at the end of 16?
No, he's a free agent at the end of 17.
Right.
So you could do that for 2 more years.
Right. And then wait and see. I might be...
and then try and sign him winter going into 17.
So essentially, you're willing to commit. Are you willing to commit $20 million a year for the next 2 years, or lock him up for the next 5?
Correct.
I might be inclined to just go a couple years.
That's what my brother said.
At a time.
My brother said, look, I said, well, do you think that if you go out and sign David Price for $30 million a year for 7 years, and you got Lester for all this money, and Jake goes, I just won the Cy Young or came close, and I'm only getting a 1-year deal, and he said, well, we're rewarding you by taking you from 3.6 to 20.
It's quite a raise, Cap.
Yeah.
But all this conversation, as interesting as it is, isn't a moot point because of his agent, Scott Boras. Do you think that he's
indicated they would listen
to a long-term deal?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I don't know that. Is it in the best interest of the Cubs to have $155 million tied up in John Lester, $210 under your scenario in David Price, and $125 in Jake Arrieta?
That's $500 million in 3 pitchers.
I know. Is that really the direction you want to take this? Because you have to, at some point, you're going to have to pay these young guys who are positional players.
Right.
And Chris Bryant is going to be
the model becomes unsustainable.
Now, that's a mantra I can get behind. That's a line that I believe in.
The model becomes unsustainable.
It really does if you are going to go that route. So I don't know. See, you got to rain on this parade and start talking contract. And yeah, this morning, working out, people down in the gym, people talking about Arrieta, one of the first questions that came up was about paying him.
Well, because people think he's a free agent, and I keep telling people, he is not a free agent until just before the start of the 18 season.
I don't know that I would necessarily be that disappointed if they didn't get anything done long-term with him in this offseason. Again, we're getting a little ahead of yourself, aren't you? If you're the Cubs?
I might say, Jake, how much are you going to ask for an arbitration? He'll probably say 25 because that's what guys are getting. Okay, we're going to come in at like 17, so let's settle at 20.
1 year, $20 million deal.
And
then do the same thing next year?
Do it again. And then next year, with 1 year left, go, wow, you've won 20 back-to-back years. If he did that, okay, let's do a deal.
This is a guy that probably would bet on himself.
What if he said, I'll do 4 years for 100 now?
I might think about that. That 5th year is the one that probably would concern me. I want to ask you a question to chew on over the break. Okay. Have the Cubs ever made a better trade?
It's a great question. 9 a.m. hour sponsored by Apt Electronics in Glenview. Check them out on the web, abt.com, and ask for the great Steve Shapiro. 312-235-2525. Phone lines are locked and loaded. We'll get to those.
Or where does this rank on your Cub trades? Give me your top 3 or 5 Cub trades. Think about it.
Put that list together.
Think about it.
Absolutely. Adam Haugh, Bears Insider, 955. Phil Rogers, baseball columnist, MLB.com, 1025. And Shannon Ryan, who was all over the Tim Beckman getting his pink slip story, and more with Illinois. We'll get to all of that, and your calls are next.
Domino effect. It starts with a plan that produces a result. That result is the grand opening of the all-new Elgin Toyota. And save time with our exclusive Toyota Express Maintenance. Browse over 1,000 new Toyotas. The grand opening sale going on now at Elgin Toyota.
Hey, Ralph Punzel.
Oh, hey, Ronnie.
Where are you headed?
Great Clips.
You're getting a haircut?
I checked in already. Using their online check-in.
I'm dying to check.
It saves you time.
You're getting a haircut.
Why? Thinking about applying to astronaut school.
That's cool.
Okay, I'll see you, Ronnie.
Next time, save time. Download the online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Aurelio's Pizza has been a Chicago tradition and family favorite for more than 50 years. To find the location nearest you, visit AureliosPizza.com. Then enjoy the game with an Aurelio's Pizza featuring our signature sauce, crispy crust, and the finest ingredients. Don't miss Sports Talk Live on Comcast Sportsnet. David Kaplan leads a roundtable on the day's hottest topics. Sports Talk Live, presented by the all-new Chevy Silverado. Weeknights on Comcast Sports.
Attention. If you currently have life insurance, you could be overpaying for your policy. Call now to find out how you can save up to 100% of your money with return of premium life insurance from Senior Life Insurance Company. If you own a typical life insurance policy, you see no cash unless you die. With return of premium life insurance, you receive back 100% of all premiums at the end of the term period. That's right, you get back all the money you paid. That's 100% return of your money. Return of premium life insurance offers protection if you need it, and 100% cash back if you don't. Other companies talk about saving you money, but with return of premium life insurance from Senior Life, you receive all your money back.
To get a free rate quote, call 1-800-771-2596 now. You have no obligation. Return of premium life insurance from Senior Life Insurance Company. Call the number on your screen now.
Now playing on DirecTV Cinema.
Welcome to Hawaii. This is your new partner.
Warmest aloha.
You're not going to pick my brains. They're unpickable.
Okay. Before it all came apart, there was greatness in this guy.
I don't even remember why we broke up.
Because you're a workaholic who creates work to avoid real work.
Well, I'm still working on that.
Your life is going to become very complicated.
Aloha with bonus cast gag reel. Movies start at Channel 125.
Cap and Haugh.
Castro, that ball just ate him up. And safe at first is Hernandez, the first base runner of the night for the Dodgers. That last play, by the way, the hot shot out to Castro has been scored an error on Starlin Castro. What happened to hometown scoring, Crook?
Wow, that's a tough one, man. I thought it was a hit. I really did. It was a tough play. Hernandez hit it well. Tough short hop for Castro. But, they scored an error. Thankfully so, and was able to finish it off. You really want to know my opinion? I think it's a hit. But at this point, you get beat and you get no hit. You're not going to complain about it after the game. It doesn't change the game any.
All right, that's courtesy of ESPN, The Call. Then you heard Jake Arrieta and Don Mattingly, the Dodger manager. Cubs win 2-0 on an Arrieta no-hitter.
They
Cap
were
and Haugh continues.
a little bit whiny after the game. Maybe that's overstating it, but they were complaining about that. But I think that it happens in baseball. The one other thing I think that is overlooked in this is that the Cubs needed that game, no hitter or not, and the value that it provided. The no hitter was bonus because then they come home with momentum. They were 2-4 on this road
They got to
trip.
play tonight.
And they're playing tonight, overnight, and who
Reds
knows?
were here having dinner last night. I talked to, by the way, in studio tomorrow, Tom Brenneman.
Oh, great.
He'll be in studio at
Tremendous.
9:40 tomorrow.
Looking forward to that.
So they got here. They went out to dinner. They're relaxed. They sleep in. The Cubs did not land, by my calculations, till like 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning in Chicago.
What are your calculations?
Well,
FlightAware.com?
Pretty much.
What?
Flight tracker.
Well, what are your calculations? Do you have the team flight tracked?
Well, no, but I know how long it takes to do the media shower, get all the stuff.
They had to do the team photo with the onesies.
So by the time you got on the plane, it was probably close to midnight here, maybe 12:30. Got a 4+ hour flight. By the time you get your bags and you get home, you're not in bed between 5:30 and 6 a.m.
They are on adrenaline. They're young. They're enthusiastic. They're loving life right now.
They are.
I don't think they're caring about sleep. They want to get to the ballpark. That's how much fun this season is.
They'll enjoy a day off Thursday.
September is tomorrow, September 1st, and you are in it. You are right now 94% chance of making the playoffs.
It's crazy.
This is fun. Okay, top 3 trades in Cubs history. The Jake Arrieta one, I don't know where it goes yet because I don't know that it ranks in your top 3 or 5. Potentially, yes. Is it in your top 3 or 5?
The Arrieta one? Potentially.
Yeah. Potentially, but not yet.
Potentially.
I've got, in order, Sandberg 82, so Boa and Sandberg for Ivan DeJesus. Sandberg was a young minor leaguer at the time, the key to that deal. The big Rick Sutcliffe trade in 1984.
Yep.
That was the big one in June that put them over the top that season. And then this one, because of the way things have turned out, it's unfortunate, but you have to, when you just look at the production, Sammy for George Bell.
Great
Sammy
call.
Sosa for George Bell in 1992. Hard to compare the relative values of what George Bell meant to the White Sox and what Sammy Sosa meant to the Cubs.
Better living through chemistry, but you're right. The impact he had.
That aside,
Right.
at the time, we were all oblivious to that.
All right, here's mine.
Okay.
The Arrieta trade's on the list.
And I think Arrieta's in, right around that.
Aesop Choi for Derek Lee.
Oh, that's a good one.
Phenomenal trade. Gary Matthews and Bobby Dernier for Bill Campbell and Mike Diaz.
Oh, I forgot that one. That
in 84 in spring trade.
That was huge.
Right before the
getting
season.
Sarge and Bob Dernier.
Aramis and Kenny Lofton trade. They gave up Matt Bruback, Jose Hernandez, and Bobby Hill. The Sutcliffe trade you mentioned. The Sosa trade. The Sandberg trade. And then the Cubs acquired, this is going way back, I had to Google this. Cubs acquired Kai Kyler from the Pirates for Sparky Adams and Pete Scott.
What year was that?
1927.
Were you doing pregame, postgame with Holly? Or no?
We just started the next year.
Okay.
Kai Kyler was one of the best players in all of baseball. He was a Hall of Famer.
Is he the one who hit the ball last night that Castro pooted?
Kiki Hernandez.
Okay.
And then the other one would be the Cubs got Fergie Jenkins, Adolfo Phillips, and John Hernstein for Bob Buell and Larry Jackson.
I asked for 3. You're giving me honorable mentions.
So,
all right, that's a good list.
It's a good list.
Let's take a phone call. I want to talk to Larry in Orion, who has a thought about Jake Arrieta and what we were talking about in terms of his contract status. How would you handle it if you're the Cubs? Morning, Larry. How are you?
I'm doing fine this morning, and I appreciate you guys being on the show. You guys are great. I love you and watch you all the time.
Thanks.
About the Arrieta contract, it seems to me like every time somebody does something good, we want to throw money at him. And
well, that's business, Larry. That's business.
Well, I understand that. But it's lousy business. If somebody does something good at a workplace and they throw money at him all the time, that's not good for business.
Right, but Larry, if someone can leave as a free agent, that's the difference. Now, he can't yet. He's got 2 more seasons, but that's the way the market goes, the way the baseball system set up. I agree with you. It's not great, but it is what it is.
Well, and I understand that and I agree with that, and that's why I'm kind of leaning toward your scenario that you had. You know, maybe the only thing I would change is instead of maybe a 1-year contract, a 2-year extension, and you know, tie him up for another 4 years, and then you're all right. But if you give him a long-term contract and huge money, you know, with the way arms go today, he could be done tomorrow. And like I say, business-wise, that just doesn't make sense.
You're right, Larry. Thanks for the phone call. That's exactly right. You're wary about pitchers and long-term deals. Thanks for the making that point, because it's a good one. You still have to realize that's the price of doing business in the free agent market. I guess the tricky thing about this, Cap, is that this isn't the free agent market. You're trying to keep him off of that, and you're going to try to pay, you know, probably to do that. But I just don't know if you have to do that yet. Do you think that sounds like a move Theo would make? I don't know.
Well, if you told me that I could buy out the first 2 years of free agency and the last 2 years of arbitration, so I get the next 4, I would do a 4-year deal.
4-year deal. 5-year makes me nervous.
Makes me nervous. He hasn't proven enough for me. He's great right now.
17 wins.
He's great.
And a no-hitter.
He's outstanding.
And he's got the great background. I'm not going to. If I talk any more about Jake Arrieta, he's going to insult me. I don't want to do that, because I'm going to keep it positive.
David Haugh, your critique of me stinks.
He's had one of the best. It's one of the best seasons. It's one of the best stories in Major League Baseball right now, and I think the Cubs are the beneficiaries of that.
Jerry in the West Loop. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
Good. What's up, buddy?
I want to make the guy that just hung up. Evidently, he's never been counter-offered on this job. The company didn't want to keep him bad enough to make him a counter-offer. That's what you guys are talking about. That's the American way. But let me say this here. The Cubs lost 4 out of 6 games on this road trip. Arrieta pitched 1 game. I'm trying to figure out – I understand the no-hitter. Trust me. And I understand being ecstatic. But, buddy, we just lost a guy that we might meet in the playoffs. How many runs did we score in the last 5 games? That's what I want to ask you guys. Are we having a problem with hitting right now, or is it against the teams that we're playing right now? I'll hang up and listen to both of you guys. Yeah. Have a good day.
Thanks, Jerry. You know what, though? I think that's a valid concern. At the same time, you've got to realize they faced some really good pitchers on this trip.
They lost to Kershaw. They had to face Bumgarner. They faced 2 really good teams. It happens, man.
Joe Madden called it the Cy Young trip. He didn't realize he was going to be ending it with the guy who's getting Cy Young, consideration. But you have to, tip your cap to the people that they went up against. And, it wasn't the Bash brothers like you were seeing at Wrigley Field during the last homestand. You weren't having Rizzo and Bryant hit homers, and Schwarber has been struggling a little bit. But the ups and downs of a team when they're this young and still developing, that's all part of it.
All part of it.
Got to get Schwarber back on track, though, Cap.
You do?
Maybe the Reds will help.
We'll see tonight. Sports Talk Live, 5:30. Sportsnet Central, 6:30. Cubs Reds at 7. Sox at Minnesota tomorrow night at 7. Holly and I have Cubs Reds post tonight after that ball game. 312-235-2525. We will get to some Bears, but we're talking about Jake Arrieta. Phone lines are hopping.
Yeah, and
back to those.
Had a texter text in from 630 saying, how can you call the Sutcliffe trade a great trade? You gave up Joe Carter.
Because Rick Sutcliffe went 16-1 and almost got you to the World Series. You'd make that trade every day and twice on Sunday.
Every day, because of what it meant in '84.
Absolutely. I wonder if Mel Hall's listening to us in the penitentiary right now. 312-235-2525. Be right back.
We manufacture pinball machines, and we are all about pinball. As we were deciding to move to Elk Grove Village, we were contacted by many different government officials. We spoke directly with Governor Walker of Wisconsin. We were in contact with the governments in Indiana and in Tennessee. We investigated numerous different areas, and we decided the best place for us was here in Elk Grove Village.
For 7 years, I was an iron worker here in Chicago until I fell and lost the use of my limbs. The construction company tried to blame me. They said the accident was my fault. But Cliff Horowitz knew the truth, and he proved it in court. I wound up winning a $64 million verdict, the largest in Illinois history. Some people say all lawyers are the same. They're wrong. Cliff Horowitz got my family the whole justice we deserve.
Horowitz and Associates. We fight for working people.
Cliff Horowitz fights for working people.
Before each NASCAR race, visit csnchicago.com and enter the Chicagoland Speedway Sweepstakes. Send in your pick to win, then watch Sports Talk Live every Tuesday. And if Scott Paddock randomly selects your pick, you'll win tickets to the NASCAR Spring Cup Series. Plus, you'll be entered to win the grand prize, a trip for two to the 2015 Spring Cup Series award ceremony at the Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas. Submit your race pick now and enter the Chicagoland Speedway Sweepstakes at csnchicago.com.
Motorcycle. Great rates for great rides.
Choices made right now, this very moment, will decide the rest of your life. With consequences that can never be reversed. If you drink and drive, you will lose your license. You will go to jail.
Two nations, two teams. On Saturday, September 5th, the red, white, and blue USA Rugby Eagles will kick off against the Australia Qantas Wallabies in their final matchup before departing for the World Cup. Witness the action live this Labor Day weekend at Soldier Field. Tickets on sale now. Visit Ticketmaster.com.
Back to Cap and Haugh on WGNPlus.com and CSN Chicago.
I'm pretty quiet, I'm methodical throughout the game. So, I talk with the guys casually from time to time, but, most of them kind of leave me alone.
I thought there was a respectful buzz. Nobody was too quiet. Nobody was too loud. It was good. I mean, our guys are really a closely knit group. Everybody knew what was going on except Justin Grimm. He had no idea it was a no-hitter even after the game was concluded. So, otherwise, everybody was on board. It's true.
Turns out Hector Rondon and a bunch of other guys didn't know either because you can't see the scoreboard from the bullpen at L.A. After the game, somebody tweeted from the locker room. A bunch of guys went, whoa, we had a no-hitter? Because they never came to the clubhouse or the dugout. They just knew he was pitching.
That's pretty cool. And Grimm obviously has a reputation for being a guy that's sort of out there.
Yeah. Nice guy, too.
Nice guy.
I had Kyle Hendricks when I did Sports Talk Live at Wrigley a couple weeks ago when the Giants were here. Kyle Hendricks and I are taping an interview before the show. It's like 4:30, and he comes by and throws a big thing of dirt at him, gravel, right in the middle of the interview.
Did he get you?
He didn't get me. He got Hendricks. It was funny. It was good. Anyway, 312-235-2525. Also, Brett and I started a bowling league yesterday, that we were in last year. Bowled at 243 yesterday, by the way. Thank you. Like a shot at the time.
Wow, I'm impressed.
And
like a shot at me?
Aren't you a bowler?
No, I'm not a bowler. What makes you think I'm a bowler?
You like country music? You're from Indiana.
So everybody, Kai, could you be any more stereotypical?
No.
I don't bowl.
Anyway, I had 10 at least, maybe 15, maybe 20 guys walk up and go, okay, the Cubs are done, right? They're swooning. It's over. I'm like, would you stop? They're going to go home Sunday night and get on that plane, no worse. If the Giants had won and the Cubs had lost, 3.5 up in the wild card second race.
Right. They're in good shape.
Spot.
They're in very good shape.
And now they're 5.5.
I liked what Joe Madden said, though, about the dugout atmosphere, called it a respectful buzz.
Yeah.
Have you heard that before?
No. Was he talking about that or the crowd, though? I thought it was the crowd.
Was it the crowd? I thought it was the dugout.
Was it the dugout?
Yeah. I think a respectful buzz is what everybody's goal should be about a Saturday night, right? You kind of like a respectful buzz.
Yeah,
Like you don't get carried away.
Don't get blasted.
Couple
drinks. Don't drive. Be fine.
Yeah, don't drive. Just have that nice little relaxing, respectful buzz.
Feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Thank you, Joe.
Let's go to the phones. 312-235-2525. Dwayne's in Indiana. Dwayne, what's up, you rock?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment that Calf number one boy Chase Utley made the last strikeout for Arrieta's no-hitter.
Yeah, okay.
I'll hang up and let you comment.
All right. I don't know what you want me to say. His OPS, since he came off the DL, is 1,000. 1,000. He's dead to me. He didn't want to be here. Screw that guy.
Oh, that's good. See, I like that. Don't be pining for somebody who didn't want to be part of.
You don't want to be
something
part of
that's
this?
Clearly very special.
Enjoy your no-hitter sandwich today, Chase.
Hey, listen. You know what? He knows how it tastes because he's had it before. He's eaten off that menu before.
He was here when they threw one against the Cubs a month ago.
True, but he's also made the last out.
Cole Hamels.
He's made the last out. There's another guy that you pined for.
Who?
And what's he been like?
Cole Hamels?
Yeah, not very, very good for the Rangers.
He's dead to me, too. I haven't checked. 312-235-2525.
Today is August 31st. Mm-hmm. Anybody else that you're longing for?
No, I don't think there's anybody else I'm longing for that the Cubs can get. Baez will be here tomorrow.
That's a guy who can help. He can help. That's what I want here.
I like that they picked up Bonifacio.
Bonifacio. Well, that's for running, right? Little utility guy. Little speed.
You can use him wherever. When he was here a year ago, he had a great start.
I like that. Yeah, he's not going to hit 460 in the month of September.
No.
But I do like the idea of Javi Baez adding a little punch. You know, we haven't even mentioned the fact.
See what he did in the last home game?
Yeah.
4 for 4.
Yeah,
and he made
bad.
a spinning play at shortstop or second base. That was amazing.
He can play all three positions and play them well. He might have to. Maybe he will. I also like the idea that we haven't even mentioned how the Cubs won this game. Chris Bryant, that was a line drive, smooth swing.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, that was just...
Yeah, it wasn't like the offense just battered the Dodgers.
No, but you won on a first-inning home run. That was in the first, correct? Got on the board, yeah. Give Arrieta 2-0.
By the way, I wrote this note to myself, memo to the fan base, of which I am one and have never hid that fact. Can we please, as a fan base, stop acting like a bunch of whiny, scared children? The Cubs are 5.5 games up. Stop with all the nonsense. Schwarber's in a spin, so he must not be good. I got Twitter, this Russell strikes out. Just stop and embrace where they're at. Just stop acting like a bunch of clowns. The whole fan base.
Okay.
Oh, my God, if we lose. Guy wrote to me, what are we going to do if Monday we wake up and the Cubs had lost and Arrieta got blasted?
The views?
I said, you know what? The sun's going to come up. You're still going to wake up, and they're still going to be 3.5 in first. So stop.
All right,
stop.
You're responsible for your views. And we need this disclaimer here, because if you want to tell the fans how to act, go ahead.
I'm telling.
As somebody who's not, you know,
you're not a fan.
I am wearing Cubby blue today. Not
and socks black
accidental.
underneath.
Exactly. Equal time. Cap, no. You just can't go on that rant.
Yes, I can go on that rant. I'm going to.
Listen.
It's my job to talk these people off the ledge.
No. Let them go. That's part of it. That's part of the joy. That's part of the enjoyment.
There is no joy walking around going, I know we're going to blow it. I know we're going to blow it.
No, you know what the joy is when they don't blow it, there's a satisfaction that anxiety, it happens. It's part of being a sports fan. You don't tell people what to do at games.
I skip through my day and go, tonight we got another ball game tonight. Yeah, I'm not like, oh, God, we're going to lose to the Reds. Oh, my God.
Nobody's saying that.
No, and if they lose to the Reds, you don't listen to all the fans I do.
I think you're overstating the panic.
If they lose to the Reds tonight, you get up tomorrow and you try and beat them on Tuesday. You're 5.5 up.
Yes.
Just enjoy this. Go, you know what? I'm a Cub fan. I'm going to enjoy this. What do you think Yankee fans do? Do you think Yankee fans wake up every day going, oh, my God? No, they don't.
Easy with your computer there, pal. You're going to spill something else on it.
It's dying.
Look, part of the joy, okay? Joy
it's like
is
American Pharaoh in the Travers the other day.
I love your horse racing references. Part of the joy, and maybe that's the wrong word. Cap, it's September 1st tomorrow. You're waking up as a Cubs fan, and you're feeling something. You're feeling anything.
Right.
You're feeling good about feeling something.
Right.
If it's panic, if it's anxiety, go with it. That's okay. At least it's not like Yeah, wake up in the morning, September 1st, and I have to watch these lousy Bears. No, you can watch your Cubs because they're not lousy this year. You can invest as much emotion, good, bad, indifferent, whatever you want.
Just act like you've been there before, even though you haven't.
They haven't. That's the thing.
But Walter Payton, what did the late Walter Payton used to say? Hand the ball to the ref and get ready for the next play. Act like you've been there, even if you haven't.
Cap,
don't act like a bunch of goofs.
Don't hold fans to the same standard that you hold professional athletes. They're fans. It's okay. Go with it. I'm very surprised at your little, list of rules for Cubs fans. You should put a binder on it and sell it. I wouldn't buy it.
I'd
getting
walk right
T-shirts
by. Made.
Go ahead. I'm not buying
batter,
it. No.
One pitch, one out at a time, and wake up and go, you know what? I'm going to quit living a life of negativity and loserism.
If you do
and I'm going to go, I'm a Cub fan, and guess what?
No.
The future looks bright, and I've got this season to play for. I am going to enjoy this rather than going, oh, my God, I got to get home at 5 o'clock. I'm going to have dinner, and we might lose to the Reds tonight. Oh, my God. And then we'll only be 4.5 up if the Dodgers lose to the Giants. Who cares? Enjoy the moment, man.
Yeah,
this is what you've waited for.
You sound like you're joyful there, Cab. You're really enjoying the moment.
I'm so jacked for this.
You should enjoy it more. Relax as you take your own advice.
I am.
And if you do sell those T-shirts with that mantra, I hope that Boomer Esiason gets a cut. That's his.
I've credit. No, his.
He talked about he's a Mets guy, right?
No, he talks about that for hockey.
Was it hockey?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was.
One shift.
See, I don't have
one
the big
period,
Capel
one game at a time
memory of the Boomer mantra.
And I changed it to this, and I've given at Boomer7
have you
full credit. That's where I got it and twisted it into a Cub mantra. And I'm getting shirts made. One batter, one pitch, one out at a time.
Don't get shirts made.
That's it.
Come up with your own original Cub fan approach.
This is my one.
No, Cap, nobody thinks about it that way. It's baseball. Really. You're going to tell a Cubs fan it's September 1st to watch one pitch at a time.
Don't worry about what you can't control.
That is so boring.
It's not boring.
It is.
I did not sit for the last 3 innings of that no-hitter last night. I stood.
And that is so ridiculous. I saw you tweet that out.
Back and forth.
I cannot believe you. Here's you, Mr. Relax. Don't worry about the curse. Curses are stupid. I'm not superstitious. And you're going to stand up for the final 3 innings of that game.
So my wife was watching in bed.
That has no impact on it.
I was in my office at the house.
Is that a euphemism for something? I mean, your office. What?
No, it was not the bathroom.
Okay.
I have an office. I was in the office, and I was organizing my backpack, and I'm trying to get my stuff straightened up, cleaning up the office, and I got Rocky and Sparky in there with me. Yoshi's in bed with Mindy. And I've got Rocky and Sparky, and I will not sit down, 7th, 8th, or 9th. In the 8th, I walked in to watch a little with Mindy, and that's when they hit that.
And she was still complaining about Castro?
Line drive.
Was she still complaining?
She still complains about Castro. They hit, I think it was the line drive, and I'm like, oh my God. He's been magnificent while I was in the office. I cannot watch this. I got to go. I went back to the office and then came running in for the last out.
See, if I need to take my own advice. If that makes you enjoy that moment more, go with it. Okay, then that's great for you because all that matters is maximizing your pleasure out of the Cub viewing experience.
Okay, but when the Hawks lost game 2 and 3 to the Tampa Bay Lightning, so they were down 2-1 in the series, Hawk fans were not like Cub fans, like, oh my God.
You cannot compare a team that at that point had won 2 cups in the last 5 years with a Cub fan base.
Don't be so negative. Cub fans, if they were down 2-1 to the Lightning with Game 4 at home, they would have been, there's no way it's over.
It's the DNA.
Don't live that way.
It's the DNA.
Well, I'm trying to get them out of that DNA. I'm trying to change that code. Come on.
I just want you to enjoy this because it sounds like you are agitated after the happiest day of the Cubs season. No hitter. Cubs are heading into September. They're going to make the playoffs. And you're telling people, you're trying so hard to tell people not to worry about it that you're working yourself up into a lather worrying about it.
I'm not worrying about it.
You sound relaxed.
I don't want them to worry about it. It's my job to talk them off the ledge. Just embrace this and enjoy it. It's having fun.
773. That's it. Cap is actually talking himself off the ledge.
No shot.
Ooh, little reverse psychology there.
All right, Markel, Brad, Bill, Nick, Ron, hang in. We got to do an update on the Bears with Adam Haugh, and then we'll go back to your calls. So keep your spot. Ron in Los Angeles was at the Cub game last night. We got to get to him.
Unless you're going to complain about anything about the Cubs and your anxiety level, because then don't call back ever.
Take a timeout. We'll be right back.
Apt, Chicagoland's #1 shopping destination, has everything you need for the perfect home. We carry the largest selection of HD and Ultra HD televisions for the best picture. Create an incredible home audio experience with the finest brands and have Apt custom installers bring the entire experience to life. You just sit back and enjoy. For a better experience, professional installation, and of course, free delivery. Apt, pleasing people since 1936.
Welcome to Orland Toyota. How can I help you?
I'd like to.
You'd like to know about our great annual clearance pricing?
Check out this new 2015 RAV4 on sale for only $199 per month.
Plus, every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care.
How do I know you? You're that amazing anthem singer. I'd recognize that ring anywhere.
It's the off-season.
Toyota's clearance event going on now at Orland Toyota.
It's the American Sale Labor Day Clearance Event. Right now, save 50 to 70% on all outdoor furniture and umbrellas. Up to 50% on pools and pool accessories. Up to 40% on spas. Plus, we pay your sales tax and get 0% financing for 12 months. Swing sets as low as $719. Trampolines as low as $399. The Labor Day Clearance Event at American Sale. Come to one of our 9 Chicagoland locations or visit AmericanSale.com and get your fun on.
Hey fans, do you have a favorite home field memory? Comcast Sportsnet wants to share it. Go to csnchicago.com/homefield-memories and submit your story now.
At DirecTV, we believe families should have somewhere to turn when disaster strikes. We believe our customers should have a real person to talk to 24 hours a day. That you should never miss your shows, even if it means overnighting a replacement receiver. And that if we're lucky enough to be invited into your home, we should leave it better than we found it. Because we believe there's no place for ordinary when you entertain the extraordinary. Don't just watch TV. DirecTV.
If you're under the age of 80, please watch this very important message about final expense insurance. While it's never easy to talk about planning for one's funeral, it is very important to do so for many reasons. If you don't have life insurance, a final expense insurance plan pays cash to your family for final and all other expenses. If you're unable to purchase life insurance due to a pre-existing or current medical condition, call us right now for information and a free consultation. Perhaps you can't afford life insurance because of your age or because you're a smoker. Call us now and we'll guarantee you coverage. There are no tests to take and it's very affordable. Rates will never increase, the policy cannot be canceled, and there are no restrictions on how your beneficiaries can use the money. Don't delay. Call right now.
Call 1-800-466-0726, 1-800-466-0726, 1-800-466-0726, 1-800-466-0726.
It's Cap and Haugh.
Fans on their feet here in Chicago as Newton's pass is picked off by Jennings. And Tim Jennings takes it all the way for a Bears touchdown.
If I were Tim Jennings, I might be a little nervous. I might come into camp thinking I have to play at a high level to justify my role here because I don't know how I fit in this defense. I don't know how I fit with this coaching staff. And I'm a guy coming off a bad year. If I'm Tim Jennings, that would be my surprise veteran to keep an eye on.
I am the smartest man alive.
That was David Haugh, July 30. The train wreck known as the Chicago Bears will be pulling into the station ready for opening day. Choo-choo. 7 days from right now.
All aboard.
It's not looking good.
No, it's not looking good. And yesterday's move, I can still say it was mildly surprising that he was the first guy to go, even though, you know, I did have a sense early in the process that this might be the way they went. But as I talked about earlier, Cap, and we'll get here to Adam Hogan in a second, I don't know the Bears have 5 cornerbacks better than Tim Jennings. I just think it was a predetermined thing. It was going to be an uphill battle for him because of money, because of fit, and because of he's coming off a bad year.
People in the organization told me that the biggest mistake Phil Emery and Mark Trestman made was not cutting ties with Lance Briggs, Peanut Tillman, and there was one more in there, immediately. and starting fresh when they brought Trestman in. Instead, those guys didn't buy in, and so it made it very tough, the transition to get the locker room united. So maybe this is one of those moves, too. Like, you're not that good anymore. We're paying you a lot of money. Just
sounds like an excuse because I don't think that Tim Jennings had as strong of a personality as the other two guys that you mentioned. But let's see what Adam Haugh thinks.
Adam Haugh joins us now. He's our Bears insider. We'll get back to our Cubs calls in a little bit. Haugh, good morning. You know, I look at this team. I watched the game on tape. I watched the game live in a bar. And, boy, people that are picking this team for 10 wins, 9 wins, I don't know what they're looking at. I really don't.
Well, let's start with Tim Jennings, and I think you guys are pretty spot on right now. Some conversations I've had in the last 24 hours, it's the scheme. It's that he's not a Vic Fangio cornerback. He's shorter. He's not as long. Vic Fangio prefers those guys. That's why they went out and signed Alan Ball. I was still surprised by this, even knowing that, because you look at the cornerback depth, it's not that good. Alan Ball has been dealing with a foot issue on and off throughout the offseason, has had to take days off during the preseason. Tracy Porter can't stay on the field. But they're obviously willing to go a little bit younger here, sacrifice the money, sacrifice even a little bit of talent and depth. I don't think Tim Jennings has had a bad preseason. He gave up one completion to A.J. Green the other night. Otherwise, for the most part, they've been staying away from his side of the field during these games when he's been out there. But obviously, just not the right fit. So you move on, and that's what they're going to do, and that's what Tim Jennings is going to do. He can find, go play in Carolina, go play in Tampa, maybe Atlanta, where he's from. He'll find a spot. Yeah.
Dallas is another possibility.
Yep.
And I think they are looking for cornerback depth. And I agree with you, Adam, that the players in front of him have done very little to distinguish themselves. And I think the completion the other night, Tim Jennings comes in the game. He's the sixth cornerback they go to. Very difficult circumstances, but it hasn't been because of his play this preseason necessarily. And I think cutting him yesterday kind of masks a bigger issue that emerged to me on Saturday night. You were there, so maybe you have a better sense of this, and from reading you, I think you do. Their offensive line has become number one issue for me, number one concern, and especially specifically the tackle position, both the left and the right side.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you included the left side in there because I think that is just as big of a concern right now as the right side because, look, Bushrod was not as good last year when he was playing hurt. And here you are with another issue. It's a back issue. It's been bothering him since OTAs. And we asked him the other night after the game, how he's feeling. And his response was, I'm not 23. I'm not 24 anymore. And that's him saying it's still bothering him. Without trying to make an excuse. That's a professional response to a question like that because you don't want to blame the injuries. But the bottom line is he's being held back right now. He's getting older. And the Bears don't have a replacement. They just don't. Their replacement for Jermon Bushrod is Charles Leno, the guy who was terrible on the right side the other night. So that's why you're right, David. This is a big problem. This is what I wrote about after the game. Not only do you have concerns at left tackle and right tackle, but you don't have anyone to fill in right now. And you get to the bottom of my column I wrote, and I don't have any answers. I don't think the Bears do right now. The only good news, I think, is that their guards are good, and Will Montgomery's been fine at center. He's probably a little bit of an upgrade over Roberto Garza at this point. So, but on the outsides of this offensive line, big concern.
All right, so if you looked at the 5 biggest concerns on the entire team right now, it could be a position group, it could be a player, it could be anything. Who are your 5, and where's Jay Cutler on that list?
Wow, off the top of my head. Okay, well, first of all, Jay is probably not making that 5 based on what we see.
David and I both agree with you.
I mean, based on what we see in the preseason, there's much bigger concerns. In fact, let's give Jay some credit. I thought he did a tremendous job Saturday night of not getting himself killed. I mean, seriously, good. Threw the ball away. He went down when he needed to. That could have been a lot worse. I thought they kept him in the game too long with the way Charles Leno was playing on the right side. But anyway, to answer your question, I think offensive tackle, both sides, enormous concern. I think the depth at cornerback and especially safety now that Ryan Mundy is out. I kind of always felt like Ryan Mundy was going to end up being a starter just by default, as much as they were trying to work these young guys in, Adrian Amos and Brock Vereen. Amos looks okay, but Mundy being out for the year, that's a big problem, especially because I don't know if you guys watched Antrell Roll that closely the other night. That's either a guy that can't play anymore, or that's a guy that doesn't care about the preseason.
He looks like he gets older every series.
Yeah, that 31-yard touchdown, I hope that was just him not wanting to make a play in the preseason game, because that was a bad look. He didn't make a play on the ball, and then he showed no interest in tackling the guy once he caught the ball. So secondary, the depth in the secondary. Continuing with the defense, the nose tackle is such a huge part of this defense, and to not have Jeremiah Ratliff for the first 3 games, maybe longer, depending on how bad this ankle injury is, and now you have Eddie Goldman, who, healthy, is still a rookie. Not healthy now with a concussion. Is he going to be back in 2 weeks? Who knows? Well, maybe we'll find out. I doubt it the way these guys tell us about injuries. But and then Christian Jones, Shea McClellan, they got a little bit exposed the other night, didn't they?
Yes.
I mean, they've been good. There's been reasons for optimism, but every time we've talked about this, we've also kind of been like, well, it's still Shea McClellan. So what's this going to look like when the regular season starts? And ones-on-ones the other night in Cincinnati, it didn't look that good. So I think that's another concern. Is that enough? I mean, I know that's not 5.
No,
Cap kind of went out with a high number there.
So let's look at a couple of those positions you brought up there, Adam. I mean, behind Christian Jones and Shea McClellan, you have Mason Foster and John Bostic, who the second-team group of linebackers, I wonder where they are and what the chances are that they would supplant the starting linebackers. And then in the secondary, when you look at, obviously Kyle Fuller is going to be one of the cornerbacks. You look at Tracy Porter, that looked like a guy coming off a sore hamstring the other night and going up and playing that ball, and he didn't do it well. How do you see the nickel defense in the secondary shaking down as a second part of that question?
Yeah, I mean, Alan Ball has to be the opposite starter, right, with Tim Jennings out. So then beyond that, is Sherrick McManus your slot corner in nickel situations? It's kind of looking that way. But if they really want to go young, then why not play Terrence Mitchell more? I mean, he's of all these corners, he's the only one that's actually looking like he's going to be making plays.
He plays hungry. He does.
But he's also an undrafted second-year player out of Oregon. So that's one of those things where you worry about a player looking completely different once the real football starts. Depth at inside linebacker, because I just brought up McClellan and Jones. I think Jones is going to be okay. He made some nice plays in the goal line where they almost made that goal line stand early in that game. I think he's going to be okay. He needs to get better in coverage, though, no question. But Shea McClellan, we'll see. But the depth with Foster and Bostic, I think Foster's a guy that they're going to feel comfortable with if they have to throw him in there for Shea McClellan. He doesn't have the speed of Shea, though. That's, I think, why you've seen McClellan in there. Bostic, I don't know, guys. To me, that's possibly still a surprise cut, because he just has not looked healthy. He doesn't look like he's playing fast. He looks uncomfortable in his own body right now with some of the injuries that he's been dealing with. And I think a good sign for him is that he played as much as he did on special teams the other night. But will they default to maybe a guy like John Timu on special teams? And let's not forget, they also traded for Matthew Wells. We haven't seen a whole lot of them, but they did trade for a guy in the middle of preseason. That's always something to keep in mind.
I think also you're going to look at the one thing you can't predict, and it's difficult, impossible to project. There are going to be probably 4 or 5 guys on this team, maybe even the opening day roster, that are on other teams now or been cut in the last 24 hours. Guys who, in the midst of a transitional phase for the Bears, are going to get good, long, hard looks at making this roster because of their experience, athleticism, whatever. And I think that's, you don't know who those people are yet, but I think defensively especially, you'll see some of those guys.
And also, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears' starting right tackle against the Packers is on a different roster right now. I mean, because
That's scary.
But, I mean, can you really go into the first game trusting Jordan Mills and Charles Leno at this point? I mean, that's a one position on offense where I could see someone else being brought in from the outside. Again, I don't know who that is. We'll see who gets cut around the league and who's on that waiver wire, or maybe a trade. I mean, I still look at Willie Young has been the most perplexing player maybe on this entire roster since the start of training camp, because first of all, he's been coming off the Achilles, slowly getting out there, but when he's out there, he looks good, right? But yet he's your fifth your fifth outside linebacker right now for a guy who had 10 sacks last year.
Well, tell us about Willie Young, Adam. You had a little encounter with him after the game, I hear.
I did. He didn't really want to talk to me, and I don't think it's personal. I think he's not happy. He doesn't seem happy. He doesn't seem like a guy who's happy right now in this situation, and I can't blame him because he was arguably the best player on the defense last year. 10 sacks. He hurts his Achilles, which is always a tough injury. When he comes back from that Achilles, the Bears are running a completely new scheme that he doesn't really necessarily fit, and he's buried on the depth chart. So to me, if we're going to look at Tim Jennings as a guy that just doesn't fit the scheme, well, neither does Willie Young, and I think he's got a lot of good football left, too. I think that if you get him back on a 4-3 team, he can play and start for you. So as long as he's healthy, but he looked pretty good the other night, so is he a trade candidate? That's something to also keep in mind in the next 2 weeks.
Hoger, before we let you go, holy smokes, watching that game, Andy Dalton, who I don't think is ever going to be confused with Bart Starr, was like a surgeon. It was like a 14-play drive, and they go right down the field. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Andy flipping Dalton? What is Aaron Rodgers going to do?
Well, the difference between that game and what the Bears were able to do against Andrew Luck was the pass rush. And you look at the secondary. I mean, we just talked about it. This secondary is going to be rough. It is. It's just not. It's not deep. You're going to have a rookie safety out there in Adrian Amos that's going to make mistakes. Even if he's looking okay, he's going to make mistakes. What's Aaron Rodgers going to do to him? That's going to be a wake-up call. Antrell Roll, the speed just doesn't look like it's there. So if this pass rush doesn't get home, it's going to be tough. I mean, a lot of quarterbacks are going to look like Bart Starr, and Aaron Rodgers is already certainly one of those guys that's
he's already better than Bart Starr.
Yes. Yeah.
Adam, good stuff. We'll check in with you on Friday after the final preseason game Thursday night.
Sounds good, guys.
Talk to you then. Have a good day.
Care. You too.
There you go. There he is, Adam Haugh from WGN Radio. All right.
Grim. It's grim, and I don't mean Justin Grim. It's a grim outlook.
Yeah, it is a grim outlook. Holy smokes. By the way.
Any advice for Bears fans?
Yeah, become a Cub fan. Get you through some of it. Brandon B. on Twitter says, hey, at the Catman, get the shirts made. Haugh's a crazy socks lover who doesn't want anything good to happen to the Cubs.
I love that perception. It's very amusing. God. And my mom, who watches the show now that she's retired, she watches a little bit more of it. She gets a kick out of it every time I'm referred to as a Sox fan because she remembers me growing up
as a Cub fan.
Big of a Cub fan as you are now.
George Lykos on Twitter, at the Catman. The fans are clowns. The people that pay your salary, you're a clown. You should grow up, shut up, and listen to your partner.
I like that last part.
Yeah, you love that. Kevin Haugh, brought to you by Horowitz & Associates, Illinois' top personal injury lawyers. Largest verdict for a brain injury in Illinois history. Largest verdict for a back injury in Illinois history. And the largest verdict for a neck injury in Illinois history. That is the Triple Crown of lawyering. Horowitz & Associates. These guys win. Take a quick time out. 312-235-2525. My boy Tony Andracki from CSN said dead on with the Cap and Haugh take. The fans need to stop panicking and waiting for the team to collapse. You're my man, Tony Andracki. That's right. 312-235-2520. Ron in Los Angeles, Bill in Northbrook. We're coming to all of you next.
Chicago seeing red as our division rivals hit town for the first of three. With the wild card looming, can Chris Bryant and the Cubs keep the dream alive? Cubs, Reds, tonight at 7 on CSN.
Do you have tough cleaning jobs around your house? Calcium deposits, lime, rust stains, yuck. Well, clean up fast with CLR. CLR's powerful formula blasts through tough cleaning problems inside and outside the house. It tackles buildup on shower heads, even coffee pots. And CLR has an EPA designed for the environment seal, so it's safer for your family and the planet. CLR, tough on yuck, gentle on everything else.
CLR is available at these fine stores.
Are you happy with your bathroom? I wasn't. But for years, I didn't do anything about it. Like many people, I thought I didn't have the money until I learned about the brilliant solution from Bathfitter. Bathfitter puts a new bathtub right over your old one. Isn't that amazing? Bath Fitter will measure and make you a new custom bathtub that they install right over your existing one with beautiful matching walls. That means you don't have to rip out your old tub, so there's no demolition or ridiculous costs. And they do it all in just one day. That's my favorite part. Plus, you get to choose everything. Book a free consultation and find out for yourself. Here's a before and after photo. This is a gorgeous acrylic tub that fit right over the old one. And only Bath Fitter has seamless walls, which guarantee a watertight fit. When you change your tub, you change your bathroom, and that can change your life. I know because I did it. Call today or learn more at bathfitternow.com.
When the biggest names visit CSN, they always hang out at the AT&T Uverse Lounge. For exclusive behind-the-scenes video and photos from the AT&T Uverse Lounge, go to csnchicago.com.
How should you choose a lawyer? Find the guy who wins. I'm Cliff Horwitz, and I've won the largest personal injury verdict in Illinois history. The largest. I've won the largest jury verdict for a back injury, the largest jury verdict for a brain injury, and the largest jury verdict for a neck injury. In fact, I've won every single case I've tried over the last 20 years. If you or someone you know has been seriously injured, call me, Cliff Horwitz at Horwitz & Associates. I'll get you the full justice you deserve.
We know you live and die with your Cubs, so plug into CSN's Cubs page as insider Patrick Mooney delivers the latest team news and more. Plus, connect with other diehards by using the hashtag Cubs Talk. Visit our Cubs page today at csnchicago.com, brought to you by Wintrust. Chicago seeing red as our division rivals hit town for the first of three. With the wild card looming, can Kris Bryant and the Cubs keep the dream alive? Cubs, Reds, tonight at 7 on CSN.
Tribune Tower, Chicago. This is Cap and Haugh on WGNplus.com and CSN Chicago.
Here's a pitch. Swing and a miss. A no-hitter. Carlos Zambrano has no-hit the Houston Astros. Oh, baby. The first no-hitter for the Cubs since Mel Pappas in 1972.
That was on Comcast Sportsnet back in the day, 2008 in Milwaukee, when the flooding in Houston forced evacuation of the game that was to be played at Minute Maid Park. They moved it up to Milwaukee, and the Cubs and the Astros and Carlos Zambrano, the
Big Z.
no-hitter.
Big Z, a guy who...
Was it Hurricane Ike? I think all the flooding that hit Houston.
I believe so. Yeah, that's why they played in Milwaukee, and there are a lot of Cubs fans
That was
up
the
there.
last no-hitter in Cubs history.
Yeah, that one had sort of
How
an
about
odd
this?
feeling to it.
14th no-hitter in Cubs history in the year that they're celebrating number 14, Ernie Banks.
And there's some symmetry there.
There's a little symmetry.
Interesting. I want to talk to Phil Rogers, who's coming up at 10:25, to see what he thinks about why there have been so many no-hitters. Since 2010, I think there have been 20, and there's been 6 this year.
Yeah, it's crazy how different it is. I was talking with Ben Finfer on STL, I don't know, a week ago or so, 10 days ago. He's like, back in the day, you heard, oh, my God, there's a no-hitter. Call your friends, everybody. Calling tree, you gotta watch. Now it's like every other week there's a no-hitter. You're like, hey,
It's
whatever.
not the same. You know, this doesn't have the same sort of impact, although you should still celebrate it and savor it as much as you can if you're a Cubs fan. And I'm not telling you how to act if you're a Cubs fan. That's your job.
That's my job. Ron in Los Angeles was at the game last night. Ronnie!
Hey, Ron.
Hey, good morning, David. How you guys doing?
What's going on there, little cabbage? You had fun last night?
Oh, my God. After 6th inning on, it was electric. A lot of Cub fans in the ballpark, and it was just great. The topping was striking out Chase Yuckley for the last out.
Yuckley, I like that.
That was a cherry on top of the ice cream sundae. But very good. But hey, I got a great tip from a guy sitting next to me. We're talking about the Dodgers blocking everybody out of here because of Time Warner. This might apply to CSN also for all the people that can't get it. There's a website called unlocator.com. It's $5 a month, and it blocks your IP address. So anybody that's streaming the Cubs, nobody knows where you're at. And they
Wait a
can't
minute.
block it out.
Wait a minute. It's called Unlocator.
Yes, sir. .com. It's $5 a month.
And so I could sign up $5 a month, and then my MLB account, which doesn't let me get Cubs and Sox, wouldn't know my IP address.
That can't be illegal.
Can't be legal, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. That sounds fishy to me.
This guy claims, he says, as far as they know, I could be in Italy right now. They can't, they don't know where you're at. If they don't know where you're at, they can't block it out. And I said, does it really work? And he goes, yeah, it was a family guy there. He was sitting there with his wife and 2 kids. And he said, yeah, that's how we get the Dodger games out here.
Interesting. So, Ron, you were at the game. I don't mean to switch the subject to something illegal, but let's go back to the game. So, Joe Madden described the tone in the clubhouse, in the dugout, as a respectful buzz. How would you describe the atmosphere in the stadium?
From the 6th inning on, it was just, David. It was just electric. You could just, it was a quiet electric. It was just, everybody was just watching every pitch. Oh, my gosh, it was just great.
Well, I have one of my good friends from high school who was, just by the way, congrats to him. He was named California Private Investigator of the Year. He's a PI in L.A., does a lot of stuff around Hollywood. He was at the game, and he videoed on his phone and tweeted it. I retweeted it, of the final out, and then everybody going nuts. And he texted me, said it was just, he goes, dude, I picked, my wife said, get tickets for a game. He goes, go to Sunday. He goes, I just randomly picked Sunday, and it worked out.
That's a good PI.
Great
good instincts.
Good instincts. Thanks, man. Ron,
Thanks,
be
Ron.
good, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Hey, can I give you a That's Whack Bro?
Sure.
All right. This is an antique That's Whack Bro. 1981, Neil Armstrong is coaching the Bears, right?
Yep.
Some guy hangs this huge banner over the side of the sidelines that read, "They sent the wrong Neil Armstrong to the moon." That's whack, bro.
Thanks,
Ron.
Ron. You're the man. Thanks.
Wednesdays, 11:25.
There you go. Every Wednesday, 11:25. All right, back to the phones. 312-235-2520. Bill in Northbrook, Illinois. What's going on, Toots?
Hi. I really enjoy your show and Cap's 530 show.
Thanks.
You guys have forgotten the Hank Baroe trade. I followed the 45 Rays day after day, and without Baroe, they never would have won the pennant, even if he wasn't any good after that.
All right, that's a good one. You're right. I would not have put that in my top 5.
Yeah, me either.
Didn't cross my mind.
But that was a pennant.
I know. Obviously, it worked. That was a long time ago. So
David was, I think, just a beat writer back then. Yeah. Bill, thanks, man.
Thanks.
Have a good day. Have a good week.
I was covering the Bulls.
Yeah, exactly. Markel in Chicago. Hey, Markel.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. Chilling with the grandparents at the moment.
Good. Treasure eating Apple Jacks?
No, my grandmother cooked cooked breakfast this morning. So yeah.
Good. Those are always the best.
Yeah, definitely. But I agree with you about the Jake Arrieta contract situation. I think they should do a year contract. Like you said, $20-25 million. Because like you say, with the rate Arms be going out as far as starting pitching is concerned, it's an alarm concern. So yeah, I agree. That him signing a 1 year contract for the next 2 years that works, and let's see how he holds up. Then after that, then sign him to a long-term contract, because like you said, even though he's having a Cy Young type year, that's not enough on his resume to warrant a long-term contract like that.
Not yet.
Right up front to begin with.
Yeah, I think you're right, Markel.
Markel, enjoy time with your grandparents. Have a good week, pal.
Enjoy your breakfast.
All right, thank you.
See ya. It's our guy, Markel.
Sitting here, listen to y'all show, eating a big bowl of Apple Jacks.
That's our guy.
What role do you think that Jake Arrieta's feelings, or I guess can you separate the business aspect to the fact that he looks at the Cub organization, maybe Chris Bosio to a larger degree, as somebody that helped resuscitate his career? Does that factor into his thinking in dealing with the Cubs, or Scott Boras just as bottom line oriented and he sucks all the emotion out of the equation?
Again, I have never asked Jake this question, and I've talked with him a lot in the locker room. I would bet he'll say, let's find what's fair. Let's get something done. I'm going to get paid a lot of money anyway. I'm in a good situation. That's the vibe I've gotten. 312-235-2525. 312-235-2525. We'll get to more of your calls. And by the way, a team of scientists from the University of Edinburgh and the University of Dundee. You know where those are?
Edinburgh.
What is it?
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
That's Edinburgh, Scotland.
Edinburgh, Scotland.
Yes.
Have discovered a type of protein that they add to ice cream. Does not change the taste. It makes it resistant to melting.
That's awesome.
Is that awesome?
Yeah.
Oh,
we can ask
stay out in the hot weather and just keep eating the ice cream.
Let's ask Phil Rogers next if he's ever gotten an ice cream cone that doesn't melt.
In Edinburgh.
Yeah, Edinburgh. That's where my wife went to college.
University of Edinburgh?
No, she went to Edinburgh College of Art. Yeah.
Look,
it's a great city, Cap. I recommend it on your golf trip next time you want to go to St. Andrews.
Next time, never been.
Okay.
To do it.
First time.
All right, quick time out. Be right back.
For 7 years, I was an iron worker here in Chicago until I fell and lost the use of my limbs. The construction company tried to blame me. They said the accident was my fault. But Cliff Horowitz knew the truth, and he proved it in court. I wound up winning a $64 million verdict, the largest in Illinois history. Some people say all lawyers are the same. They're wrong. Cliff Horowitz got my family the whole justice we deserve.
Horowitz and Associates. We fight for working people.
Cliff Horowitz fights for working people.
Great rates for great rides.
Milestones. They show the world how far you've come and how much you've learned about life and about yourself. They say a milestone is an event worth noting. And of course, there are some you just shouldn't ignore.
There's a Golden Opportunity sales event going on right now.
Like this Lexus ES350 for only $329 a month.
And the first payment is on us.
Plus 0.9 financing.
It's time to show the world how far you've come.
Right here at Lexus of Orland and Lexus of Maryville.
Don't miss Sports Talk Live on Comcast Sportsnet. David Kaplan leads a roundtable on the day's hottest topics. Sports Talk Live, presented by the all-new Chevy Silverado. Weeknights on Comcast Sports.
I'm Billy Joel. Did you know the United States and China have each crushed more than 6 tons of ivory? These fragments are all that remain of countless elephants. Every day, 96 elephants are killed in Africa for their ivory tusks. We can't turn back time, but we can reverse this trend. Don't be the generation that allowed elephants to go extinct. Take a stand. Go to 96elephants.org.
Mesothelioma victims and their loved ones may be entitled to a cash award from the $18 billion in asbestos trust funds, and you may not have to file a lawsuit to qualify. If diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer caused by exposure to asbestos, call the number on your screen now. Even if a loved one had mesothelioma or asbestos lung cancer and has passed, your family may still be entitled to a cash award. Mesothelioma is a rare cancer caused by exposure to asbestos. Many victims worked in the Navy or in shipyards, mills, carpentry, roofing, insulation, construction, or automotive industries. For over 30 years, our legal team has successfully helped thousands of victims and families. Time is limited. You may not have to file a lawsuit. If your loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer caused by exposure to asbestos,
call 1-800-948-5177 now. 1-800-948-5177 now.
It's Cap and Haugh.
Swing and a miss, a no-hitter. Jake Arrieta has just pitched a no-hitter at Dodger Stadium. A curveball got Utley swinging, and Arrieta being mobbed by his teammates. Cubs win 2-0. Arrieta is a strike away from a no-hitter. Here's the pitch to Utley. Swung on and missed, strike 3. The Dodgers have been shut out for the second time in 11 days, and he is being mobbed by his mates around home plate. A no-hitter thrown by Jake Arrieta, who was utterly brilliant tonight, capping it off by striking out the side in the bottom of the ninth. 12 strikeouts, 1 walk.
Cubs Radio Network, the great Pat Hughes, and then, what was it, KL AC in Los Angeles with the one and only Charlie Steiner. Two perspectives of the final out of the Jake Arrieta no-hitter. 312-235-2525.
Baseball poetry.
Yankees have claimed David Robertson on revocable waivers. Deal would have to be done by the end of business tonight.
Yeah.
It says right now it appears unlikely, but if I'm Rick Hahn, I'm all over that, man.
Appears unlikely based on whose perspective?
That's what John Heyman says.
I've got to tell you, I mean, if I'm Hahn, I'm looking at the Yankees prospects, and I'm considering every possibility.
Get me a couple of really good young prospects. You can have 3 years of David Robertson. There you go. Yankees trying to win a World Series. White Sox up to track, and a chance to get a couple young guys in here.
Yeah.
I'd do it in a second. Let's go to the phones. Phil Rogers joins us now from MLB.com, and then we'll get back to our callers. Philip, good morning.
Morning,
How are
Phil.
you there, buddy?
Hey, I'm great. The Yankees haven't been too generous doling out their minor league talent through the years, or at least the recent years. So, my guess on the Robertson thing is they claim him hoping the White Sox are just ready to dump salary, which they won't be. So I kind of agree with John Heyman that, it seems unlikely that the Yankees are going to make an offer that the White Sox will take.
Interesting. Phil, good column this morning on MLB.com about the Jake Arrieta no-hitter last night in Los Angeles. I think that you referred to it as more inevitable than unbelievable, and that was the word that Jake Arrieta was throwing around at Dodger Stadium. And you have written this before, and you've compared Arrieta's ascension to Max Scherzer's, and I think it's a very interesting comparison. And you also address some of the contractual realities that are ahead for Arrieta, or possibilities. Number one, just your reaction to last night, and number two, when you look at some of those, what's ahead for him contractually, what do you anticipate?
Well, for starters, what a moment. I mean, there is it's a 162-game season. These guys play a million games that are similar to the one they just played yesterday. But there is something still special about that Sunday night baseball slot on ESPN. You're the only game going. It's the Monday night football of baseball. And to step up in that moment at Dodger Stadium and do what he did, couldn't have been any more impressive. And MLB.com, anytime anybody's throwing a no-hitter, it doesn't matter where it is or who it is, those of us that are national guys are always on no-hitter watch after the fifth or sixth. And you almost always feel like it's going to get broken up. A couple times last year, I walked over to Wrigley Field late at like the seventh inning of Arrieta starts. I wasn't covering from the start. No-hitters were broken up. But you could see the stuff he had last night and the focus. And, to me, it was just like, okay, what am I going to write? Because he's going to do it. And, that was when he had to go through the side, one more time. He really is dominant. And long term, I don't know that now is really the time to get sidetracked and worry about, for this guy to Cubs control for 2 more years. Can they lock him up and make it 5 or 6 years? I wouldn't be surprised at all if those, he goes to arbitration next year. And, I do know with the Scott Boras guy, the closer he gets to free agency, the harder it gets to sign him to an extension. So if they were going to be able to sign him to an extension, it would be easier this winter than it will be the following winter. And the only thing that really gives me hope that the Cubs will lock him up to be here beyond 2017, his last year, is that Arrieta is so happy here. And they're, yes, Max Scherzer turned down $144 million or whatever it was to stay in Detroit. Wound up getting $210. Didn't work out too badly for him. And that's kind of the normal Scott Boras process. But, there have been Boras guys that want to stay places that sign extensions. I mean, Jarrett Weaver from the Angels is probably the best example of that. And I think Arrieta and his family are so happy where he is, where they are in Chicago, that, I think there's some motivation from his side to work out a long-term deal, but it's not going to become an issue anytime soon. And, I think the baseball front office, Theo Epstein, they made really good decisions. I guess the question you look at, if they sign him, would that impact their ability to go out and, lock up get a David Price or a Jordan Zimmerman this winter? I wasn't a big believer from the start that they had to get a guy like that, but I think as you've seen how good the team is and how the rotation is thinning out as the season goes on, not getting stronger, has made me feel more likely that David Price is a really good fit and, somewhat likely to wind up being in a Cubs uniform for opening day next year.
Talking to Phil Rogers from MLB.com, longtime star with the Chicago Tribune, a baseball maven through and through. Let's talk about the Dodgers for a second because they have a $297.5 million payroll. And I looked at that team last night, and they've got Kershaw, they've got Greinke, they got a few good players, obviously. But I look at that team and go, man, make me a GM and give me a $300 million payroll, and I got to feel like I'd have a better team. They got some holes there that concern me if I'm spending that insane amount of money.
Well, and your number's a little outdated. They made that big trade with the Braves, took on some more payroll. I think they're actually closer to 315, 320 at this point, which is territory a baseball team not even the Yankees have ever gone to. And it does appear to be a slapdash approach. One thing to think about, it was done with two different regimes. A lot of this started with Ned Colletti as the general manager. Then they switched to Andrew Friedman, who I think it's a surprise that they've continued to add payroll the way they have, because that's certainly not Andrew Friedman's MO, and it's not, I don't think, why Dodger ownership hired Andrew Friedman. And the biggest thing is, that was a very good lineup that Arrieta threw the no-hitter against. 7 All-Stars players in that lineup, including 3 guys that were All-Stars this year, and the top 7 hitters all batting left-handed, so they had the platoon advantage too. I mean, that was a loaded lineup that didn't deliver. And yes, they've been no-hit twice in 10 days, but in between, they ran off a 5-game winning streak too. So I don't know that the Dodgers are a complete mess. It's interesting. There was no Yasiel Puig in that game last night, and I think ultimately the Dodgers have to resolve the Puig question. Is he going to be their leader, or would they be better to cast him off? I think they thought they would be better shipping Matt Kemp out, even though they had to pay a lot of Matt Kemp's salary. They could get to that same point with Puig after this season and decide. I think if they don't win this year in the postseason, I think Don Mattingly's probably gone, and I would suspect Puig is probably going to be made available for a trade. He'd be an interesting guy for the White Sox.
Last thing before we let you go, Phil. So tomorrow is September 1st. You've mentioned how Javi Baez is hitting at Iowa. Everybody has seen just the kind of production he's had down there, especially the past month. How would he fit with the Cubs? Do you think that there's a realistic possibility that you could see more of Kris Bryant in right field with Javi Baez at third base?
Well, over the last week we've seen Kyle Schwarber cool off, and right now I never like looking at a lineup that doesn't have Kyle Schwarber in it. I was disappointed when the lineup came out last night and he was given the night off against Wood, the Dodgers left-hander. But I think what you could easily see, unless Schwarber picks it up and starts killing the ball again, especially against left-handers, you could see Baez at third base and Kris Bryant in left field or right field, really either of the corners until Soler comes back against left-handers. I would think Baez will find a way into the lineup against left-handers, but, they're going to rest Russell some. He could get a start at shortstop. He could get some starts at second base. So I think they'll kind of move him around between second base, shortstop, third base, and use him as a bat off the bench. A very, very, very intriguing guy. I don't think there's another team in the majors that's going to bring that dangerous of a hitter to the big leagues in September.
Hey, before we let you go, I talked to someone who has been a baseball scorer at the major league level, and I said, okay, the ball, he goes, before I even got the question out, he goes, it was a hit. Because he said that they were taught by MLB when they had their seminar 2 years ago, a ball that takes a hop and comes up above the waist is a hit, below the waist is an error. That's how they were taught to interpret it. So I just pulled it up while you were talking. Ball hit Castro just above the knee. So maybe it should have been an error. I said error from the get-go. Other people didn't.
Yeah, I was fine with the scoring call, and certainly, the historical trend has been to give the hometown team the hit. So right from the start, when the Dodger Stadium scorer calls that an error, it's an unpopular call. I think one, if it's marginal, you're probably unlikely to call it that way. I think it goes into just how arbitrary scoring is. But I did not have a problem with that call. And, you make it that early in the game. I think it's really sort of messing with history and karma and all that to go back and think about changing it after the fact. Here's my take on it, though. The scorer in the game made less money than probably any vendor at Dodger Stadium last night. Why anybody wants to be a scorer for Major League Baseball games is a little bit beyond me. Last time I looked, those guys got $150 a game.
Wow. And they're making value decisions that can affect guys' contracts.
Well, and the history of the game, and they do it because they love the game. They don't really do it for the money. But, when you're talking about a $9 to soon to be $10 billion industry, I've always thought those guys were underappreciated and underpaid.
Interesting. Thanks a lot, Phil. Appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Have a good day, buddy.
All right, we'll see you.
There you go. That's our guy, Phil Rogers, from his palatial estate in downtown Chicago. Before we take a quick time out, we got to get to Shannon Ryan in a little bit, talk about Tim Beckman and the clown show that is the Illini Athletic Department. Karen in Chicago had a comment. Hey, Karen.
Hi, Cap.
Hey, Karen.
I just want to let you know I've been a Cub fan for 55 years. I'm enjoying this year more than any other year in a very long time. And if you ever print those T-shirts up, I want one.
You got it. I'm working on them now.
Thank you.
Okay, don't forget.
You, Karen.
That's how you watch the game tonight.
Thank you for encouraging
one batter, one pitch,
sure.
one out at a time.
Oh, jeez.
That's for sure.
Karen.
Be good, Karen.
Why encourage him?
Thanks.
Really?
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Copyright Boomer. Dear Boomer, thank you for the T-shirt idea. Your guy, Cap.
Say goodbye to money down the drain. Where I tried Harry's.com. I was paying too much for razors. Now I get both quality and value. Think about waking up to a better shave without paying an arm and a leg. For my listeners, Harry giving you $5 off your first purchase of a starter set with coupon code CAP, K-A-P. Enter my code CAP at checkout. Get Harry's starter set for just $10. That's a month's worth of shaving for just $10 with code CAP. Harry's starter set comes with a razor, 3 of Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades, and a bottle of shaving cream, all shipped straight to your door for free. Harry's.com delivers a superior shave for an incredible price. No more choosing between expensive brands or cheap disposables. Instead, go with Harry's. High-quality blades at a price you will love. Visit Harry's.com right now. Enter code CAP at checkout. Get $5 off your first purchase. Get a month's worth of shaving for just $10 with code CAP, K-A-P at checkout. Harry's.com, code CAP. And you will notice how nice and smooth my face is and my head. I used my Harry's blade this morning.
I could tell. You could tell that when you walked in here this morning. Bouncing around.
Tim Beckman's coming on? I'm kidding. He said Tim Beckman. Tim Beckman. I'm like, oh, is he coming on? Love to have Tim Beckman on the show.
Yeah, that would be an interesting interview.
Let him plead his case. I think he's getting a screw job from the university to take his money away.
Well, we'll let you advance that thought after the break because I don't necessarily... It's complicated. Let's just say that. We need to get into that at some point.
Got it. 312-235-2525. It's Cap and Haugh. Be right back.
Aurelio's Pizza has been a Chicago tradition and family favorite for more than 50 years. To find the location nearest you, visit Aurelio'sPizza.com. Then enjoy the game with an Aurelio's Pizza, featuring our signature sauce, crispy crust, and the finest ingredients.
Diamonds, the jewelry exchange, has 1-carat solitaires for $9.90, certified 1-carat engagement rings $29.90, 2-carat certifieds for $59.90. Thousands of GIA diamonds, guaranteed the lowest price, plus no interest for 12 months. The Jewelry Exchange in Villa Park.
For 7 years, I was an iron worker here in Chicago until I fell and lost the use of my limbs. The construction company tried to blame me. They said the accident was my fault. But Cliff Horowitz knew the truth, and he proved it in court. I wound up winning a $64 million verdict, the largest in Illinois history. Some people say all lawyers are the same. They're wrong. Cliff Horowitz got my family the whole justice we deserve.
Horowitz and Associates. We fight for working people.
Cliff Horowitz fights for working people.
Hey, Ralph Punzel.
Oh, hey, Ronnie.
Where are you headed?
Great Clips.
You're getting a haircut?
I checked in already. Using their online check-in.
Online check?
It saves you time.
You're getting a haircut.
Why? Thinking about applying to astronaut school.
That's cool.
Okay, I'll see you, Ronnie.
Next time, save time. Download the online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
It's a feeling you only get by being here. See the stars, experience the excitement, and create memories that last a lifetime. As NASCAR's top 16 drivers fight the field as they battle for the championship. Included with your ticket, a special live performance by Brett Eldredge. Buy early and save. Call 888-629-RACE or visit ChicagolandSpeedway.com. Chicagoland Speedway, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup starts here.
And here we go, folks.
It's your favorite hot dog bun, mustard, and overpriced watered-down beer.
Are you sure you want to eat all that? Because you already weigh more than your team's batting average.
Let's just toast to our anniversary. Oh, no, it's corked.
Let's just watch the game. I tweeted all of your friends to come over, but I guess no one showed up.
That's okay. I invited one of your friends, too.
It's out of here.
Give a real anniversary gift this year. Escape to the Champagne Lodge in Willowbrook. Book your next special memory at the Champagne Lodge today. You know you deserve it.
Tonight, don't miss Sports Talk Live on Comcast Sportsnet. David Kaplan leads a roundtable on the day's hottest topics, interviews Chicago's biggest stars, and interacts with you, the viewer. Sports Talk Live, presented by the all-new Chevy Silverado. Tonight at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Every night, get ready for the most dynamic show in Chicago. Your city, your teams, your show. This is Sportsnet Central, presented by Comcast Business. Every night at 6:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Haugh. We use the word Oski not just because of the word Oski or that it's a battle cry of the University of Illinois, but it also stands for something. That stance that we use that word for is our success equals the knowledge of being, the K, the knowledge of being a great student athlete on and off the football field, understanding how to be supportive, how to understand to be successful in the classroom. The E stands for effort, giving all-out effort in everything you do each and every day. And then the last E stands for energy. Energy, being a positive influence on the people around you, having that belief and that system of as being a teammate, being a brother, the band of brothers.
Big on. Wow.
What in the heck are you talking about, Tim Beckman? Well, no more. You're talking about game plans and getting ready for another game as Illinois coach fired on Friday. We used the word Oski.
Bizarre. But you don't fire a guy.
Can I just hear the beginning?
You don't fire a guy
the word
now
Oski
because of that. You don't fire a guy now because he's deemed incompetent. You could have done that anytime. Really. Tim Beckman did not get any dumber from February to now.
Correct.
From last December
but
to
is
now.
It true that he had the issues he's being accused of, not paying attention to injuries and bullying players about their... Is it true he's allegedly did that at Toledo?
Is it true? Well, that's difficult to interpret. Now, was he accused of doing things like that at Toledo. There was an incident, I believe he was sued by a kicker for some abusive behavior, I believe. I think the Tribune has reported that. Did he have a reputation for coaching hard? Yeah, he did.
I don't have a problem with coaching hard. I don't.
Again, you're not going to find anybody defending Tim Beckman, and I don't think it's necessarily.
Teddy Karras did.
Well, I think
Teddy Karras being an excellent offensive lineman for the Illini.
The players that are there now are kind of different. I mean, they obviously there's a loyalty factor that you have to respect. He's 12-25. If he were 25-12, I think that we'd be making rationalizations for Illinois why they reprimanded him. That would be a coach getting disciplined rather than fired. The end justified the means, and I think that's what you have when you have football coaches who coach hard, push players through injury. All right, this is what I'll say about Tim Beckman. What he's accused of doing at Illinois, to me, talking to athletic directors, knowing some coaches, being familiar with college football, what he's being accused of at Illinois goes on at every major college football program in America. Players are pushed beyond their limits. I'm not condoning any of this. I'm just telling you what I believe based on the information that from people I've talked to. Players are pushed. Scholarships are threatened. This has been going on for 25 years that I can relate to. When I was a player at Ball State, I saw it firsthand. I experienced it. You worry about your scholarship year to year. He was fired because there was a very public investigation, a very public complaint.
Do you think
against him?
Do you really believe what you wrote in your column?
I do believe what I wrote in my column. I don't know what you're referring to, but I won't write anything in my column if I didn't believe it.
That if he was 25-12, he wouldn't have been fired Friday.
I do believe that.
Really?
Yeah. You don't? I think it's naive to not believe that.
If he was 25-12 and Mike Thomas was as outraged as he purported to be on Friday about what the findings showed, then he shouldn't be the coach, if that stuff's true.
You don't believe that? Do you disagree with me in that point? Show me what's the smoking gun here?
No, I don't know what the evidence shows of their investigation, if there is a smoking gun. If he indeed is guilty of what they said, and I'm not saying he is, if he's guilty of what he's being accused of, it shouldn't matter if he's 37-2.
But you're familiar with college sports here, Cap.
I am.
All right.
But if he's truly being accused of if he's guilty of what he's being accused of.
What, telling players that they should practice even though they're hurt? That never happens at Alabama, Auburn,
They made it sound like it was far worse than that.
What? Tell me.
Putting players' health at risk. I mean, major.
Coaches put players' health at risk every time they ask them to play beyond a threshold of pain that they're not comfortable with. You could make that argument. The concussion handling is at a point where it's a critical phase in college football and in professional football. How concussions are handled threatens the futures of these student athletes. So you do have to be diligent and vigilant about the way that you manage this. But, Cap, I don't accept that Tim Beckman is on an island here, and this is the guy that's the only one doing this stuff.
You think Urban Meyer walks up to his guys and goes, you banged up a little bit? Why don't you sit out today?
I think Urban, I don't want.
He goes, I got 8 All-Americans lined up right behind you. You want to sit?
I do not want to cast aspersions on a specific football coach, but let me say this. I think that there probably are football coaches that are smoother and more savvy in the way that they get this job done and get that message across than Tim Beckman was at Illinois. I think he's a clumsy communicator. I think he's an awkward man.
Our academic standards have gone skyrocket.
So imagine that guy trying to get a message across to a player. There's other coaches that are just better at it. And I think, though, that it's a culture I'm not condoning, but I think it exists. There's tremendous pressure at these programs to get the best players on the field, regardless of their health status at times. And I think sometimes coaches succumb to that. And that's a case of where you have in Illinois a coach being caught red-handed doing it, so he's fired. But let me get back to this Mike Thomas stuff. Unless you want to interject something right there because you.
Well, I was just going to say I can't believe Mike Thomas still has a job.
Okay,
Mike Thomas should be out the door.
Well, I think that's an easy conclusion to reach. Okay, but why is that? Not just because things have.
It's the whole culture of the athletic department down there. It's just jump the tracks.
But what put it over the top here? Because the culture was dysfunctional for a while now. That outrage that you referred to Friday when he fired Tim Beckman. Come on. Spare me the outrage.
Yeah, that's my
Spare
point.
me the outrage. You're sitting there.
If it's true that he was that outraged, and it really is accurate what he was outraged about, that we've got a smoking gun, as you put it, then how did it take this long? And how'd you not know what was going on?
May 11th, he gets up there after Simon Savanovich made the accusations on Twitter. Mike Thomas calls it a personal attack on Tim Beckman, supported him almost blindly. And then we know now it was blindly. 109 days ago, 109 days after he did that, he fired the coach he supported. In July, in a sit-down with a couple of Tribune reporters, he calls the situation at Illinois not unique. It happens everywhere, okay? On Friday, he sure made it sound like it was unique. So if you want to hold your football coach accountable for his behavior, then you have to hold your athletic director to the same standard for his behavior in light of his comments. To the contrary, you can't run an athletic department like that. It has no credibility now. The top guy's got to go.
Gone.
Got to go.
Out. Pack your bags. 312-235-2525. Shannon Ryan, who's been all over this story, will join us coming up next, and then we'll get to more of your calls. People want to talk about a lot of stuff, including the Cubs. Kevin Haugh, brought to you by Horowitz and Associates, Illinois' top personal injury lawyers. Largest verdict for a brain, back, and neck injury, all in the history of the state of Illinois, the land of Lincoln, baby. That's the Triple Crown of lawyering. Horowitz and Associates. Our guy Cliff Horowitz, undefeated since 1995. All these guys do, all they do is win. 312-235-2525.
And nobody is saying that Tim Beckman still should have his job. Let's be clear there. I just believe that if you want to say that Illinois is different, show me exactly why you would say that. And then the other thing is, don't stop with just the football coach if you really are truly serious about cleaning up the culture.
Yep, go to the AD's office next.
Cap and Haugh on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by Horowitz and Associates, Illinois' top personal injury lawyers.
Apt, Chicagoland's #1 destination for the perfect home. See the largest selection of appliances on display. If you need a new refrigerator, range, washer dryer, dishwasher, or want to remodel your entire kitchen, we have everything you need to make your dream home come to life. For free home delivery, professional installation, and a better experience, shop Apt. Pleasing people since 1936.
Are you happy with your bathroom? I wasn't. But for years, I didn't do anything about it. Like many people, I thought I didn't have the money until I learned about the brilliant solution from Bathfitter. Bathfitter puts a new bathtub right over your old one. Isn't that amazing? Bathfitter will measure and make you a new custom bathtub that they install right over your existing one with beautiful matching walls. That means you don't have to rip out your old tub, so there's no demolition or ridiculous costs. And they do it all in just one day. That's my favorite part. Plus, you get to choose everything. Book a free consultation and find out for yourself. Here's a before and after photo. This is a gorgeous acrylic tub that fit right over the old one. And only Bathfitter has seamless walls, which guarantee a watertight fit. When you change your tub, you change your bathroom, and that can change your life. I know because I did it. Call today or learn more at bathfitternow.com.
At DirecTV, we believe children should have the most advanced learning tools for free. We believe our loyal customers deserve over $1 billion in equipment upgrades. That creating a plan for you to get our latest technology every 2 years is just the beginning. And that providing service from Alaska to Antarctica proves we truly understand global technology. Because we believe there's no place for ordinary when you entertain the extraordinary. Don't just watch TV. DirecTV.
When it comes to fulfilling our customers' expectations, Gerald Subaru of North Aurora has earned a reputation for excellence. We are one of an elite group of Subaru dealers awarded the Subaru Stellar Care Award for excellence in customer satisfaction. Gerald Subaru of North Aurora has one of the largest Subaru inventories in Chicagoland, which means you can drive home today in the Subaru of your choice. Plus, all Gerald vehicles are covered by an exclusive lifetime warranty. Gerald Subaru of North Aurora is dedicated to you. Gerald Subaru of North Aurora is always a better deal. I guarantee it.
Tower Chicago. This is Cap and Haugh on WGNplus.com and CSN Chicago.
Our hopes that today provides the initial action and first step that will allow the university to turn the page. Earlier this week, I received a preliminary briefing of the football program review. It showed me enough evidence that Tim Beckman needed to be dismissed as the University of Illinois head football coach. As you know, when allegations surfaced about the football program, we took action but reserved judgment. I want to be clear that the health and well-being of students is our top priority. And this decision was based on the health and well-being of our student athletes.
That's Mike Thomas, the athletic director at the University of Illinois, on Friday when he announced the departure, the firing of his hand-picked choice as head football coach, Tim Beckman, who came over from the University of Toledo. Cap and Haugh continues at Comcast Sportsnet and WGN Plus, 312-235-2525. We will get back to more calls a little later, but Shannon Ryan joins us from the Chicago Tribune. She has done just phenomenal work covering all that's been going on at Illinois over the last several months. She's on her way to Champaign right now. Shannon, good morning. How are you?
Hi, Shannon.
I'm fine. How are you guys?
We're doing well. So let's go back to Friday. David and I were talking about the outrage that Mike Thomas showed. Do you believe he has a smoking gun that validated the firing of Tim Beckman? Or no, if Tim Beckman, as David said, was 25-12, not 12-25, he'd still be the head coach?
Well, I mean, that's a good question because really what was put out there in the release and what Mike Thomas said without going into any details was kind of what everybody had already known as far as recruiting went, what players had said on record. So, you know, I wondered that myself. Is there something more to it that he, you know, that we didn't know and nobody knew about? Or was it just there was many more players complaining? But, you know, it's probably a little bit of both. Like what David said, as far as, you know, a coach with a losing record, there's plenty of reasons Tim Beckman could have been fired without any allegations. You know, Simon Stavanovich never goes on Twitter. I think there were still a lot of people in Champaign who would have been just fine seeing Tim Beckman go because of the just, you know, the on-the-field record. So when you couple that with allegations and now, you know, Mike Thomas has some paperwork and investigation and documents that he can say legitimizes that, of course that helps his, you know, his reasoning and logic and letting people, you know, kind of get behind that.
Shannon, I think the response from Tim Beckman has been measured in a statement. He has not spoken to the media, to my knowledge. I think that's probably a wise on his part, given his propensity to kind of meander when he talks. But I think that when you see a measured response like that, it also suggests that there might be some more in the way of a legal response. Do you anticipate him filing suit that he was wrongfully terminated? And how unusual did you consider that Illinois did, you know, fire him immediately with cause, meaning they don't have to pay him the remaining $3.1 million or the buyout in his contract?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess, you know, it was a measured response from Tim Beckman, you know, just a press release to the AT. But I mean, you could really read between the lines in that he's really ticked off. I don't think, like, a lot of times when coaches are out the door, they're pretty much saying, you know, using the words like about legal, you know, coming after you legally. So he put that out there, and I think, you know, you can kind of tell where that's headed. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's definitely an unusual case, but, you know, if they have cause and if that's part of his contract, then, I mean, you know, we'll see. I mean, Illinois could have 3 lawsuits playing out right now, which isn't good for them either. I mean, there's a women's basketball lawsuit and a soccer player lawsuit, and now it's the coach they just fired. Here's another lawsuit coming at them. But, you know, I guess, you know, if you're putting that out there as Tim Beckman saying you have legal, you know, reasons to sue, I suppose he would have talked to a lawyer about that, and it was, seem like, a response. Like you said, I don't see him talking to reporters just because if he has a lawyer now and is talking to them, I think that's probably a wise move because he tends to maybe say too much sometimes. So I'm not sure if the next time we hear from him, it might be something on, filing a suit.
His statement made him sound surprised by this. You've been around him a little bit and talked to him since the Big Ten embarrassment on Media Day. How would you describe his demeanor up to this point, and what do you think his level of his surprise should have been?
I think he was very surprised because I was very surprised, and I think the reporters who cover Illinois is very surprised. Not that, that he was going to be fired at some point. I mean, everybody, maybe could see that coming, but just the timing of it and leading up to, even at Big Ten Media Day, when he was on the podium, he, looked a little foolish with the whole Oski chant, but just one-on-one and talking with reporters in Champaign, I mean, he was like very upbeat, very enthusiastic, expected Illinois to, get back to a bowl game and win this year. And, just the reporting, after practices talking to him, it was just run-of-the-mill business. Okay, this player's injured, this player's getting, a surgery. It wasn't, the talk had kind of almost died down about, like, are you going to be fired before the season starts? I think people kind of thought since it went this far after the end of the season, maybe they have a really bad year and then he's fired. But I think just the timing the week before, I think it definitely caught him off guard because I think it caught a lot of people off guard. Definitely the players were caught off guard.
We have a lot of fun, Shannon, at his, benefit with the Oski chant. Mike plays it all the time, and our academic standards have gone skyrocket. We got so much stuff on this guy. It's unbelievable. Do you think people down there, I don't know about Tim, but people around there realize the clownish manner that he's perceived in, or no, down there they actually think he's really good?
I think he's a bit of a different person when he's not in front of the camera and not maybe feeling pressured to say the perfect remarks. So I think he comes off that way, definitely. And I think there's a definite sense in Champaign and Illinois fans that just not just statements he made, but, there was incidents from, the very beginning almost that were embarrassing for Illinois with him, going after some of the Penn State players after that scandal. And, even little things like the chewing tobacco on the sideline. I mean, no, you're not going to get fired for that, but it makes the university, you're not talking about them for winning on the field. And then, there's these little side things that keep coming up that people are kind of laughing about. So I think they were aware of just that he wasn't helping their reputation. But again, a coach that does all that stuff and you're coaching a national championship team, oh my gosh, it's hilarious. And he's so endearing and what a funny guy. And he doesn't care what the media thinks. It really is all about winning. You see coaches who scream at media and scream on camera and say ridiculous things, and people love them because they're winning. So,
okay, so answer
I
this.
think it comes down to that.
Answer this question. As David said, if he was 37-10 in his tenure, is he the football coach this morning?
I think there's an argument for that, of course, because you asked me, is there a smoking gun? Is there something more in this investigation that'll come out? We'll see. But there were some people you talked to, when the Tribune, we wrote a story where we talked to a lot of players, and I talked to some former coaches and the former players, not Illinois players, but, more prominent players. And a lot of them said, this is football and, things have changed and the line for what you can do to players changes. But I think you definitely get more of a pass probably in almost any profession when you're successful.
Absolutely, and, Shannon. You're exactly right. Look at Baylor. Art Briles welcomes into campus on his team a guy who attacked a woman at Boise State. He knew about it. You know what?
And then lied that he didn't.
Art Broyles has got the fifth-ranked team in America. The end justified the means. Steve Sarkisian gets up in a drunken state, and he addresses alums. You know why they like him at USC? Because he can win. If Tim Beckman were 37,
you look at Florida State and what's going on there. I mean, a lot of people overlook. A lot of fans will overlook very serious things, not just like a coach who isn't a great public speaker. If you're winning.
That's it. Florida State's the best example of all the three. So, Shannon, look, the thing that bothered me, I'm not going to ask you about the Mike Thomas thing, but I did, as you know, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way that the guy who defended Tim Beckman at the beginning was the guy who fired him 109 days later. And also the guy that he hired. This is his signature hire at Illinois. But I think I want to get your impression of this. Bill Cubitt is a very well-respected assistant coach in the profession, head coach at Western Michigan for a long time. He is a guy that is considered, as you wrote about, a father figure to players and really a good guy in the industry. And yet I found it implausible that they presented him and suggested that he was not aware, as he said, of any of this going on. That seems to be, that just doesn't seem to fit for a guy that was working that close with Tim Beckman.
Right. I think that was kind of two of the things that were a little strange at that press conference was, you know, when Mike Thomas was asked, maybe like in a little bit of a roundabout way, but just how you didn't know this was going on. And he kind of talked about, like, well, there's so much, you know, it's a vast athletic department and how many people they employ, and that was kind of the reason why they didn't know any of this stuff was going on, which I don't know. It seems like you should have a better pulse on a team if coaches are doing things that would require, you know, would demand they be fired. But and Cubitt, you know, I asked him that as well. Why, you know, weren't you talking to Tim Beckman about injuries, and weren't you, you know, you've worked beside him very closely. The offensive coordinator and the head coach are going to be talking constantly, and you're going to be talking about personnel and players, and if a guy's injured, when he can come back. So, you know, I asked him how you didn't know that, but his response was just he's a very, very focused, just listens to the medical team and goes off that. So I don't know, you know, I think when they move on to the next coach, I don't know if it would be Cubitt. I mean, I think the players really like him. I think he's got a great offensive mind, still experienced, but you kind of get the sense that Illinois needs a bit of a clean slate when they're going to move on.
Yeah, and I think at this point, Shannon, as I said this and wrote this, nobody and everybody is a candidate. Nobody can tell me who's on the short list because no short list exists. I don't think the athletic director who's going to make that hire is employed by Illinois right now, so I think it's all a moot point and all just a bunch of conversation. So last thing before I let you go. Illinois opens the season in 4 days. I mean, they open Friday night, Friday Night Lights. How prepared for Kent State in the MAC? And you can't take those MAC teams lightly. How ready will Illinois be?
Yeah, they're much less talented than the Big Ten teams, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I mean, the Illinois, even last year, I mean, they played some really lightweight teams and struggled early on. Again, you know, they won some games, but I mean, they didn't look great all the time. But yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a great way to see how. I mean, I think on paper you'd say, okay, they're going to beat Kent State, but this is going to be a great way to see how they actually respond to just so much turmoil that's gone on. I think you look at. It's probably been brought up before, but you look at Northwestern and everyone's asking, oh, is this union stuff? Is it, you know, tearing apart the team, or did that have anything to do with things not going in the right direction? And everyone initially had said, no, we focused. And then, you know, it didn't work out for them. And it was people that kind of split the locker room. And so I'll be interested to see with Illinois, you know, they're saying all the right things right now. They're tighter than ever, and, you know, it's us against the world and all that, which maybe that's how it will play out and embolden them to win. But, you know, they've just gone through a ton of stuff since, I mean, these senior players, they've gone through, you know, two coaches being fired and, you know, a horrible 2-10 season and different staff with firing, you know, replacements there, and now their head coach fired right before the season starts. So I mean, they've been through a lot. You know, Teddy Karras, an offensive lineman, says, you know, we've seen everything now, and we're so resilient. So we'll see. But I mean, that's a lot for a team. I mean, just from a logistical standpoint to get it together on such, you know, a quick turnaround like that, and just from an emotional standpoint.
Shannon, appreciate the knowledge. You've got an exhilarating drive ahead of you, so pay attention to those corn stalks.
Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. That's Shannon Ryan from the Chicago Tribune. Does magnificent work on that beat. 312-235-25.
You know what I'm saying? That was college football. You're making it sound like this is a profession that has a very high level of standards and a low level of tolerance for people that get the job done. When you win in college football, you are afforded many luxuries people who don't win aren't. Tim Beckman did not win enough, period.
We use the word Oski not just because of the word Oski.
And he was clownish along the way.
It's the best.
That empowered them to feel like they could get away with firing a guy a week before the season starts.
Hey, Paul in the western suburbs, his son played for Tim Beckman at Toledo. We'll take him now. Paul, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Hey, Paul.
Good. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to share with you some, I guess, semi-personal experiences. I have a relative who played for Beckman at Toledo his last year as a coach. And basically 4 instances. First, the day following surgery on a hand for a spiral fracture where the physicians told this individual that it would be very painful, they had him doing weightlifting the next day using that hand. I mean, the kid was in agony. Instance number 2, clinically diagnosed with a concussion during an August practice. They made him stand on the sidelines with his helmet on in, 90-plus degree heat, which is, if you had a concussion, certainly not something that you would want to do. Thirdly, this individual was actually an eyewitness to the Moose Cameron situation. It was kind of a hazing incident where the offensive linemen were essentially expected to conjugate after a morning practice. They were doing a kind of a slam dunk competition where one of the offensive linemen was down on all fours by the goalpost, and they were using the football to do slam dunks. And Moose actually did a great dunk, but his hands clasped the bottom of the crossbar, and then he lost his grip and fell on the back of his neck, immediately convulsing and so on and so forth. And the problem there was when they brought him back after that, the first practice he got hurt, brainstem injury, can't play football. He was their number 1 recruit at the time, wanted to play professionally. And the final instance is Beckman told his coaching staff at Toledo that he was going on a recruiting mission. When he came to Illinois, got the job, and then sprung it on everybody that he was leaving. His team was so angry that they refused to admit him at the senior banquet because everybody basically felt that they were shortchanged and disappointed.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate the story. Yep.
Thanks.
I mean, I would have thought they'd been glad to see him go if he was that bad at Toledo. I'm sure that those sound like very serious allegations against Tim Beckman. Yeah, and he was sued for one of them.
312-235-2525. We got a bunch of callers. We've got an angry NFL coach who's rude to a sideline reporter. I mean, a whole bunch of stuff to talk about before we get out of here. Get the ultimate experience with the all-new Samsung Curve 4K Ultra HD TV app in Glenview. With a Samsung 4K Curved Ultra HD, you get the fastest internet and smart TV functions available. Come in apt, ABT today. See the complete selection of Samsung electronics or call them at 847-544-2228. 847-544-2228. For complete satisfaction, free delivery, and a better experience, shop apt. ABT. Apt.com, pleasing people since 1936. Quick time out. We'll come right back. More on Cap and Haugh.
Chicago seeing red as our division rivals hit town for the first of 3. With the wild card looming, can Chris Bryant and the Cubs keep the dream alive? Cubs, Reds, tonight at 7 on CSN.
We manufacture pinball machines, and we are all about pinball. As we were deciding to move to Elk Grove Village, we were contacted by many different government officials. We spoke directly with Governor Walker of Wisconsin. We were in contact with the government in Indiana and in Tennessee. We investigated numerous different areas, and we decided the best place for us was here in Elk Grove Village.
For 7 years, I was an iron worker here in Chicago until I fell and lost the use of my limbs. The construction company tried to blame me. They said the accident was my fault. But Cliff Horowitz knew the truth, and he proved it in court. I wound up winning a $64 million verdict, the largest in Illinois history. Some people say all lawyers are the same. They're wrong. Cliff Horowitz got my family the whole justice we deserve.
Horowitz and Associates. We fight for working people.
Cliff Horowitz fights for working people.
Two nations, two teams. On Saturday, September 5th, the red, white, and blue USA Rugby Eagles will kick off against the Australia Qantas Wallabies in their final matchup before departing for the World Cup. Witness the action live this Labor Day weekend at Soldier Field. Tickets on sale now. Visit Ticketmaster.com. Aurelio's Pizza has been a Chicago tradition and family favorite for more than 50 years. To find the location nearest you, visit Aurelio'sPizza.com. Then enjoy the game with an Aurelio's Pizza featuring our signature sauce, crispy crust, and the finest ingredients. The stakes are high as the Sox fight for their playoff lives in a huge series up north against the division rival Twins. It's Abreu versus Mauer. White Sox versus Twins. Tomorrow at 7 on CSN. He worked hard, played harder, and led his team to a state title. Now get to know Fighting Irish freshman Miles Boykin as CSN brings you an inspiring story of family, friends, and football. Play like a champion, Miles Boykin's journey to Notre Dame. Premiering Thursday at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet.
Tribune Tower, Chicago. This is Cap and Haugh on WGNPlus.com and CSN Chicago.
I've handled dozens of balls.
Thanks, Coach Belichick. Welcome back, Cap and Haugh, Comcast Sportsnet, WGN Plus. The parties have left the courtroom. The judge thanked everyone for how hard they worked in the Deflategate case. He said, we have no settlement. I'll issue a ruling either tomorrow or Wednesday.
That'll be a big ruling.
Lester Munson, who you guys had on the other day.
He was great.
It's my guy. I'm a huge Lester Munson fan.
On Friday.
He believes that it's a done deal. The NFL will win that lawsuit.
Even though the judge had said some things that were very critical of Roger Goodell.
He wrote a great article why the judge may have done that, but in the end, he'll rule for the NFL.
Yeah, I know. Very shrewd. I think, as we said before, Cap, you can think both things here. Number one, that the Patriots are always going to be guilty of pushing the envelope. They have a history that doesn't help them in matters like this, and you have to pay attention to the rules and take your punishment. And you can also believe that Roger Goodell in the NFL didn't do everything right in this case. I think it's both. I think there's definitely not a good guy.
But I'm sure he was following all the legal advice he was being given, too.
Goodell? Sure. And he's also exercising the power that the CBA grants him.
That the players signed off on.
Yeah. So we'll be waiting to see. This could be a big week in terms of developments of things that are, doesn't have anything to do, things that don't have anything to do with on-the-field developments. You could hear a Deflategate thing. You wonder where the Patrick Kane investigation is going. You wonder what's going to happen with that. You wonder if you'll hear any more about the Derrick Rose lawsuit. I doubt it. I think it's going to be a while before you hear anything on that. But those are three things that, again, are legal, kind of a legal stories that have morphed into sports stories or the other way around. And it could be an interesting week for those.
Also, a couple of other notes where you mentioned Deflategate. You mentioned Patrick Kane. Lester said September he would think you might hear something there. We mentioned Derrick Rose. Also, Michigan plays Utah this week. College football gets going. Fox Sports announced that they will have 5 separate feeds for the opener for that game, including a khaki cam that will be focused on Harbaugh the entire game.
That's is that they're calling it khaki cam?
Yeah.
Can they get a sponsor for that, I wonder? Yeah.
Sure. Dockers or somebody's in
Kmart. I am excited about college football starts Thursday night, and then Saturday, Northwestern, Stanford in town. Illinois plays, as we said, Friday night against Kent State, Notre Dame, Texas, Saturday night in South Bend. There's a lot of fun stuff going on with the Cubs back home this week with the Reds and the Diamondbacks. But college football starting is kind of signals the beginning of that time of year. Saturday afternoons.
Be fun.
Yeah. And the Bears play Thursday night, by the way. Although these 4th preseason games are less interesting to me than, the Bears had the Fan Fest, that open scrimmage, That was more interesting to me than anything that will happen Thursday night at Soldier Field. But he was. Hey, how about the thing that happened Thursday night? And I alluded to it this morning. Did you get through my entire column?
I did.
Did you see what I alluded to at the bottom?
Hold on.
Of it. Make sure it made the cut here. Yeah, it did. So
it's at the jump.
Alshon Jeffrey. We don't know when he's going to be back.
Correct.
But he was not put on the. They put out a list of players available every preseason game. His name was not on the not in uniform will not play list. Saturday night in Cincinnati. So that led to some reporters to believe Team Tribune was there full force. Brad Biggs, Dan Wiederer,
Good
Rich
to see
Campbell.
they covered that game.
Exactly. Watch it there. Watch it there, Cap.
How many reporters you sent? 8?
Let's see here. So I'm talking about the Bengals and the report 45 minutes before the game. Alshon Jeffrey was not on the list. So they tweet out Alshon Jeffrey might be in uniform.
No, they didn't. They just left him off, which led people to believe he might be in uniform.
It led people to believe that. It's a reasonable assumption, is it not?
Yeah.
If you were there covering the game, wouldn't you think that if he was not on that list, that he would be included among the people that would be available?
Yeah.
And dress. So if he's available to dress, you think, oh, in the injury kind of vague injury approach that the Bears take, you think that may be a sign of progress. Well, 45 minutes later, after people had informed their public that maybe Alshon Jeffrey would dress, the Bears informed the media about the oversight. Well,
he's not even here.
But you didn't even find that out until after the game. The reporters during the game did not know Alshon Jeffrey wasn't there.
So why wouldn't they say right at the beginning, hey, by the way, if you guys are looking to talk to Alshon, he's unavailable because he's at home?
I don't know why. I don't know why John Fox.
What is the upside?
There's no upside. I don't know why John Fox didn't just come out on Thursday and say Alshon's not going to be on the grass Saturday night.
Let me ask you a question. John Fox has never worked in a major media market. No disrespect to Charlotte and Denver.
Denver's a pretty good football town.
Yeah.
I mean, but
he's never worked in a media market. Chicago, Philly, Boston, New York, the big four.
All right.
Where, man, you better be ready. You think he's going, whoa, I haven't experienced this.
I think he's annoyed by it more than anything, if anything.
Probably.
I think he's probably annoyed by it. I think Ryan Pace might be a little bit in more of the how can I make this better mode? How can I learn more about what you guys need so we're not always being criticized to the extent we're being criticized? Because, the Bears do that with Alshon Jeffrey, and it just looks like miscommunication at best, incompetence at worst in terms of making people aware of who's available. And then after the game, Jimmy Clausen, who got hit pretty good.
Yeah, don't talk about the concussion.
Don't talk about the concussion you didn't suffer.
Correct.
So Brad Biggs, I think, tried to talk to Clausen and was told that he can't talk about that. So I just don't know what is to gain. And what does this mean? It just means you have a regime that's very, paranoid. And paranoia with a team that's not very good, it's a bad combination. Bad combination. And it's one of those things that just continues to frustrate people. And Alshon Jeffrey, is he close to playing opening day? No idea.
They're day-to-day in my mind.
Everybody's day-to-day.
I don't know what long-term means.
He's going to find out.
I like the other cut.
The hard way.
Yeah. I think.
That's it right there.
He's
radio gold.
Finding a lot of answers hard to come by and a lot of words hard to find to describe what he's experienced this preseason. It's not good.
It's all a problem.
Left Indianapolis feeling better about the Bears than obviously the first time out. Watching Saturday night, boy, they could top out at 6-10.
Yeah,
and Cutler could be the least of anyone's worries.
Probably right. By the end of we could get to a point where next year at this time,
I don't even know how
Jay will be like, Jay should come back. There's no better option out there. Draft his replacement, but
he's still under contract. That's the thing.
Correct.
Yeah. You don't know what you're going to be up against. You don't know how bad it's going to get. You don't know who's going to be healthy by the end of it.
By the way, the 49ers, according to the Chicago Tribune, the Bible, did not allow Ahmad Brooks to practice with the team. He was charged with a misdemeanor, and they sent him home from joint practices with the Broncos in Colorado, and he is not going to practice the entire week with the team.
Interesting.
While they make some decisions.
And what might those decisions be?
Well, I think they're waiting to see if.
And Ahmad Brooks, pretty good linebacker, right? I mean, he's a guy that they are counting on, and I think teams are going to be more responsive in this culture.
It's not like Kobe in 2004.
No, it's not. Things have changed, and I think you're mentioning that for one reason, and that's because of the Blackhawks being, in a similar situation
Kaner,
with Patrick Kane.
Bulls, all of it.
Well, the
Bulls is more a civil thing.
It's a civil thing.
Also, J.J. Watt did not play. You saw that. Most of these guys are not even going to play at all in the preseason, which is smart. They did a sideline interview with him. Did you see it?
No.
They asked him something, and he goes, look, Jennifer Aniston got married a couple weeks ago. I'm heartbroken, and I'm moving on.
He's shown a lot of character, and he's been the star of the Hard Knocks. He's definitely a guy who likes when the cameras are on him. He doesn't mind the attention. You can see that.
Bill O'Brien's been good on that, too. Getting a lot of pub. 312-235-2525. We'll be right back. Cap and Haugh brought to you by Horowitz and Associates. Illinois' top personal injury lawyers. You need a PI lawyer. Largest verdict for a brain injury in Illinois history, largest verdict for a back injury in Illinois history, and the largest verdict for a neck injury in Illinois history. That is what we call the Triple Crown of lawyering. As for our guy Cliff Horowitz at Horowitz and Associates, these guys win. Be right back.
Oh, hey, Ronnie.
Where are you headed?
Great Clips.
You're getting a haircut?
I checked in already. He's in their online check-in.
I'm dying to check.
It saves you time.
You're getting a haircut.
Why? Thinking about applying to astronaut school.
That's cool.
Okay, I'll see you, Ronnie.
Next time, save time. Download the online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Apt. Chicagoland's #1 shopping destination has everything you need for the perfect home. We carry the largest selection of HD and Ultra HD televisions for the best picture. Create an incredible home audio experience with the finest brands and have Apt custom installers bring the entire experience to life. You just sit back and enjoy. For a better experience, professional installation, and of course, free delivery. Apt. Pleasing people since 1936.
Hey fans, do you have a favorite home field memory? Comcast Sportsnet wants to share it. Go to csnchicago.com/homefield-memories and submit your story now.
Cinderella found the pet that fits her perfectly. Tiana gave her pet the royal treatment. Belle found beauty where no one else did. And you can too. Share your heart. Share your love. Bring home your forever friend. Make a shelter pet part of your world. Happily Ever After begins at theshelterpetproject.org.
An important message for Americans in need of health insurance. If there's been a recent change in your life, you are eligible for immediate protection under the Affordable Care Act. If you're uninsured because you missed the enrollment deadline, we can help. To get the protection you need, you can visit the Healthcare Exchange and spend hours exploring your options. Or you can make a single call to Health Markets and let us do the legwork for you at no cost or obligation. Health Markets Insurance Agency searches thousands of health insurance plans on the exchange and off from more than 120 leading companies like United Healthcare, Humana, and more. We'll find you the right insurance coverage and guarantee the lowest price for plans we offer. And if you qualify for a government subsidy, we'll make sure you get the tax credits you deserve. Talk to us on the phone or meet with a local licensed representative. Why pay more than you have to or risk going without the coverage you need? Put our free service to work for you.
Call the number on your screen now. Operators are standing by. Get the coverage you need. Call now.
Back to Cap and Haugh on WGNplus.com and CSN Chicago.
Everybody that plays this game wants to accomplish great things and pitch at a high level. So, yeah, I mean, it's something that I've wanted for a long time. I've been close on a couple occasions. You know, just fortunate. Everything aligned right tonight and was able to get it done.
There he is, Jake Arrieta in his mustache onesie, meeting the media after his no-no last night in L.A. at Chavez Ravine Dodger Stadium. Cubs back to work tonight on Comcast Sportsnet. 7 o'clock, first pitch with Len Casper and Jim DeShays. Todd Hollandsworth and I will have your post-game show immediately following that ball game. And 5:30, Sports Talk Live this afternoon.
Kyle Hendricks goes tonight. Need a better outing out of him. Dan Herron tomorrow. Jason Hamill tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Dan Herron on Tuesday. And Jason Hamill on Wednesday.
Correct. And then you get a day off Thursday.
Yeah.
And then you get Lester Friday against the Diamondbacks. Arrieta Saturday.
They're not skipping Lester? Because Arrieta could pitch Friday, right? It'd be just a regular day.
Right. They're going to Lester.
I'm just kidding. I don't think you're skip Lester. Although you did see his struggles surface a little bit the other night.
Well, they were winning, 2-1 into the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
And then they gave up 3.
Did you see his comments? Not his comments. Did you see the comments from Miguel Montero after the game? I think it was in the Sun-Times from Gordon about catching Lester and not being able to throw out. What am I going to do? Kind of a helpless tone to his comments. Do you think, because of the obvious struggles that Lester has holding runners on, do you think that rubs anybody the wrong way at this stage of the season? Because there was a lot made of David Ross not catching Lester because of his bereavement leave, I believe, or it's a personal
family medical emergency.
Okay. Is that a thing? I mean, do you think it's an issue that, it sounded like Montero was explaining, hey, I can only do so much. Basically, look who's pitching. How can I throw out anybody if he's not going to hold him on base better than that? Does that have any lasting repercussion?
I don't think it does, but again, it's a great question. I got to ask when I'm around.
Do you wonder that, or am I making something out of nothing? I got to find the comment.
It's a legitimate question.
Because it's one of those things where Miguel Montero is not any slouch.
He's an interesting guy to talk to. I've talked to him. He's very, very astute about the game.
And I think he's very, very valuable to the Cubs in terms of a leadership role.
Where do you think all the #WeAreGood stuff started? He's the guy that got this whole thing rolling.
And the thing is that when you have a guy that valuable in the context of your leadership and he's being replaced every 5th day, I do wonder how that goes over. Are the Cubs better? I know you're a David Ross guy, and I think his value is hard to measure.
Yeah, I'm a big David Ross guy.
But a
lot of value in that clubhouse to having him there.
Here's Montero in Gordon Wittenmeyer's story. Quote, "There's not much I can do." Says, when you know they're going to go and you still have to make a perfect throw to maybe throw the guy out, as a catcher, you just try to do your best and just try to be as quick as possible. Other than that, there's not much I can do.
It's a good question.
Because the preceding, it was Montero skipped a throw to second, trying to rush to get Scott Van Slyke on a second inning steal. He had little chance on Jose Peraza stealing third in the 3rd inning. It had to be a quick throw. It had only started with Lester 2 other times because Ross wasn't available. I don't know.
I'm still telling you, I see if they get into the playoffs, if they win the 1-game wild card, because I think Arrieta will pitch it.
Say this, Cardinals-Cubs, and John Lester's pitching game 1.
He's going to pick somebody off first.
Oh, I thought you were... Is there any question that...
They're going to take this Willie Mays Hayes out to a big lead. Whoa! Where'd that come from?
You're dreaming. You're dreaming. That's the Cub fan in you talking.
No.
That is not the analyst talking. No, that's a Cub fan talking.
Nostra Cap talking.
No, that's the Cub fan in you talking. You want it to happen so bad you're gonna voice it. No. Cap, what would make you think that? Did you watch the other night?
Yeah.
You felt a little bad for the guy. I was like, oh, there he goes again. Cardinals are going to run all day.
We'll see.
I love it. That is such a fan. I love it when you show your fan card.
By the way,
you don't even realize it.
We mentioned the great trades in the Cubs history.
Yes.
A bunch of people on Twitter said, did you say something about Mel Hall in jail? Yes, Mel Hall, and I'm reading from the ESPN, the magazine article. Former Major League outfielder Mel Hall sentenced to 45 years in prison back in 2009 after being convicted of raping a 12-year-old girl he coached on an elite basketball team. Convicted on 3 counts of aggravated sexual assault, 2 counts of indecency with a child. Among his accusers during sentencing Wednesday were others who said he carried on an inappropriate relationship with them as well. He was 48 when he was sent to jail.
Well, that's a buzzkill. Let's keep a respectable buzz around here, Cap.
There you go. So
let's keep a respectable buzz.
Answering your questions,
respectful
folks.
Buzz.
Also, a couple of NFL notes for you. Jay Gruden announced Kirk Cousins will be their Week 1 starter against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And Tyrod Taylor starts for the Buffalo Bills.
So your Buffalo Bills starting quarterback is Tyrod Taylor. Doesn't give me much confidence.
They're going to win 10 games at least to go to the playoffs.
Yeah, now you're saying at least.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go into the other room and put on your fanboy outfit to come back for this segment? Because you're sounding like Johnny Fan over there right now.
I'm
you're
just
thinking
being
with
honest.
your heart. You're talking with your heart, not your head. No, you said at least 10 games.
Correct.
You think the Bills with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback says they're at least a 10-win team?
Yeah.
That's nonsense.
Yep.
That is nonsense.
Yep.
Okay.
Buffalo Bills, here they come.
And, okay, let's follow this up because we got to get this all out of the way. So you're using the Kirk Cousins information because in the back of your mind, the wheels are spinning, and you're thinking, oh, RG3 on the market.
I don't want him here.
But you're wondering about the possibility. You asked me about that.
No, I said, would you bring him in as a backup?
No. I don't think I would.
Jimmy Clausen's one more hit from drooling, so.
You can do better than Jimmy Clausen, I believe.
Uh-huh.
But I don't think that RG3 is a guy that, with all the baggage he would bring with him.
How about Matt Barkley?
I like that idea.
How about Johnny Football?
No.
Okay.
Why? They wouldn't. He's not going to get cut anyway.
I don't think so.
But I think you can get, as I said to Adam Haugh, I think there are going to be 4 or 5 guys that are going to be Bears to be named later that haven't been cut yet. But keep an eye on them. This is a team in transition.
Will they flip guys at the deadline? It's going to be like the Cubs.
Wouldn't that be more fun, though, if you could do that?
All of a sudden, boom. Hey, they just got a second-round pick for who?
Ryan Pace is so busy, he just claimed David Robertson.
Unbelievable. Hey, check out Schaumburg's premier 27-hole golf club and academy. Schaumburg Golf Club, conveniently located right off Highway 90 on Roseau Road in Schaumburg. Their academy provides a wide range of lessons and amenities that will cater to any golfer of any skill set. You can book your tee time right now at SchaumburgGolf.com and get special rates or call to schedule your lesson at 847-885-9000. 847-885-9000. Chris Falo and the staff will take great care of you and your group. And the last time I played that course, I've never broken 70. In fact, 75 is my all-time best score. I went there, I shot 36 on the front, and I'm like, oh, baby, I got it going. I got it rolling here. The heavens opened up, it rained, I never played the back nine.
Oh, wow. What could have been?
So I got to play the back nine again. 312-235-2525.
Oh, okay, 312. Haugh, this might be hard for you to believe, but fans of the show actually like when Cap pulls out his fan card, so stop hating so much.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
No, not really.
All right, we got to take a timeout. 312-235-2525. We'll do page 2 next.
2 nations, 2 teams. On Saturday, September 5th, the red, white, and blue USA Rugby Eagles will kick off against the Australia Qantas Wallabies in their final matchup before departing for the World Cup. Witness the action live this Labor Day weekend at Soldier Field. Tickets on sale now. Visit Ticketmaster.com.
How should you choose a lawyer? Find the guy who wins. I'm Cliff Horowitz, and I've won the largest personal injury verdict in Illinois history. The largest. I've won the largest jury verdict for a back injury, the largest jury verdict for a brain injury, and the largest jury verdict for a neck injury. In fact, I've won every single case I've tried over the last 20 years. If you or someone you know has been seriously injured, call me, Cliff Horowitz at Horowitz & Associates. I'll get you the full justice you deserve.
And here we go, folks.
It's your favorite hot dog bun, mustard, and overpriced watered-down beer.
Are you sure you want to eat all that? Because you already weigh more than your team's batting average.
Let's just toast to our anniversary. Oh, no, it's corked.
Let's just watch the game. I tweeted all of your friends to come over, but I guess no one showed up, just like at Mobile Phone Park.
That's okay. I invited one of your friends, too.
There's a long drive, and it's out of here.
Give a real anniversary gift this year. Escape to the Champagne Lodge in Willowbrook, just 25 minutes southwest of Chicago.
The American Sale Labor Day Clearance Event. Right now, save 50 to 70% on all outdoor furniture and umbrellas. Up to 50% on pools and pool accessories. Up to 40% on spas. Plus, we pay your sales tax and get 0% financing for 12 months. Swing sets as low as $719. Trampolines as low as $399. The Labor Day Clearance Event at American Sale. Come to one of our 9 Chicagoland locations or visit AmericanSale.com and get your fun on.
Take the ultimate summer trip to the city of brotherly love this September, courtesy of Comcast Sportsnet and Southwest Airlines. We want to help you get away to watch your Northsiders play on the road in Philly. Enter now for your chance to win the grand prize, round-trip airfare, 2-night stay in Philadelphia, and tickets to the game for you and your guest. Winning couldn't be easier. Just visit csnchicago.com/Southwest to win. Contest ends September 3rd. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com.
Read all about it. We're desperate for stories, and this one is so compelling.
This is page 2.
All right, home stretch, Cap and Haugh on a Monday in the greatest city in the world. And these are the stories that are not above the fold or on the Trib or back page of the Chicago Sun.
Like the White Sox.
I mean,
we got to talk about the White Sox. Come on.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Well,
we've just been busy.
Now would be an appropriate time to at least mention the White Sox.
It'd be an inappropriate time?
Now would be inappropriate.
Oh, inappropriate.
I said it fast. No, it's not an inappropriate time to talk about the White Sox.
That's what you said.
An inappropriate time to talk about the White Sox would have been 9:02.
Okay.
The morning after Jake Arrieta no-hitter.
Agreed.
So the Sox get their Tyler Saladino walk-off victory yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They claim, they put David Robertson on revocable waivers this morning. The Yankees claim him. They have until, what's the deadline? Today's the deadline, August 31st, deadline today, to make a deal. How active are you if you're the White Sox trying to get rid of, unload talent? Jeff Samardzija hasn't won since the trade deadline.
Any money I can move and get anything back at all? Yes. Alexi, done. See ya. Thanks. Save me $1 million.
I told you my White Sox plan last week. You know, Trace Thompson in right field, Avi your DH, Carlos Sanchez at shortstop, Micah Johnson at second. You've got to start thinking that way.
I agree.
Sox-related thought, Addison Reed. You see where he's former White Sox.
Yeah, who just picked him?
The Mets.
The Mets guy.
Make a big deal with the Diamondbacks. So the Sox, things aren't going so well. I think that they're now 7 games back for the final wild card spot if you're keeping track at home. And why you are, I guess, you know.
Yeah, they're done.
They're done. They're 61 and 68. But they go on the road now, right? They go on the road. The White Sox play the Twins. So they're in your college town.
Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Twin Cities.
There you go.
Our defense has just absolutely sucked.
And by the way, nice job, Chuck Swirsky, filling in for Haugh.
Chuck's really good at it.
He really did a nice job over the weekend.
Sets Stoney up. It's really good.
Yep.
Hey, Japan crushed the U.S. and wins the 2015 Little League World Series. Couple points. One, U.S. had like a 10-0 lead in the first. 10-0. And loses this game 18-11.
Nope. You're not going to call a bunch of 12-year-olds choke artists, are you?
No.
Okay,
no,
all right,
no.
good.
But I'm so over the Little League World Series. Get it off TV and leave me alone.
45,000 people there yesterday, Cap.
Great. I used to watch it back in the day when Cody Webster of Kirkland, Washington, it was like a big deal. It's going way back.
What was the Burroughs
Cody
kid?
Webster's probably 40 years old now. I don't know.
I remember Jeff. Wasn't it Jeff Burroughs' kid?
Yeah.
He was really.
Yep. How old is the
powerful.
Cody Webster of Kirkland, Washington kid? He was like the star.
I don't know. But you didn't feel this way a year ago. A year ago, Chicago was captivated, moved, transfixed, transformed.
And then again, like Danny Almonte being 62 years old, pitching in the Little League, there was something else going on. So I'm just over
you
it.
think these Japanese kids have got it all going on? You think they're legit? Don't you think there could be some gerrymandering of those districts over there?
No question.
I mean, there's got to be something going on.
Really good kid in Osaka we could bring over. I mean, I'm done with it.
How do you know? But why are you done with it now?
I was already.
You loved last year. You loved it. You were eating it up by the spoonful.
Right.
Jackie Robinson West. We all were.
Yes, we did.
But I'm done now. I don't believe any of it. I think that wouldn't be shocked if they're taking steroids. I'm done. Completely done.
Is it? I mean, because they blew a 10-0 lead. What if they would have won 17-2?
It's done. I'm not done. I had no interest.
You had no interest? Did you watch any of it yesterday?
We flipped through the channels. We ended up watching the Saints and the Texans.
You didn't seem to hear as much
and
buzz.
The White Sox.
There was less of a respectful buzz on social media this year from like Major League Baseball players and personnel about the Little League World Series. Maybe we just noticed it more last year because Chicago was involved.
Okay, so let me just tell you something. Cody Webster, they say, is the greatest U.S. Little League player of all time. He led Kirkland, Washington to the Little League Championship.
Yeah.
They won the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how old he is?
No.
I remember this little kid that I was cheering for. I wasn't a kid. Cody Webster now operates a baseball academy and is 45 years old.
So he was a Little Leaguer 33 years ago.
He was a Little Leaguer in 1982.
Okay.
1982. So that's
33 years
33. Ago. And you're 13 when you're playing? How
12.
old are you? 12.
12, yeah.
45
12 plus 33 is 45.
Thank you.
Yeah.
45 flipping years old.
Oh. But
I cannot believe that.
It's gotten to be too much because of put it on television, making it the spectacle that it's become has sort of warped people's reality. That's what. If that was what you were objecting to, I could probably have a reasonable discussion. Something tells me that's not it. You're just kind of mad at the whole JRW thing. You feel a little cheated. You feel like you get duped. We were all duped.
Again, the Danny Almonte thing. I bought in. Hook, line. Oh, what a great story. No, you're 19. No wonder you were blowing 12-year-olds away. Yeah.
It's kind of like that Seinfeld episode of Kramer with the karate.
Yeah.
Beating up the little kids. Yeah. Kicking away at 10. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with the
I'm so glad you shared that with us. All right. So one of the things over the weekend during the Cubs trip in L.A. was that Vin Scully announced that after 2016...
that he'll be retiring.
But after 67 years.
Going one more year.
That's the bad news. The good news is he's come back for one more year.
Did you see how they announced it?
That was great.
Jimmy Kimmel on the scoreboard?
Yeah. During the game. In-game.
He's back.
Yeah. And then a social media explosion ensued. I thought it was really neat that Joe Madden
went up to take a picture.
Yeah, and he said he doesn't do that, but he wanted one with Vin Scully. And Vin Scully wanted to meet Joe Madden, apparently, according to the story that I saw. And it
Gonzo right there?
Nope. So Vin Scully announces he's coming back and is there for everybody to appreciate because he is a baseball treasure.
Very cool. David Ortiz had his 494th career home run this week, and he passed Lou Gehrig and Fred McGriff. He's 27th all-time on the home run list. This is a guy that was non-tendered by the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, well, then he found Flintstone vitamins, and we all know what happened next.
And Theo picked him up.
Yeah, right.
How about that?
It's a lot of home runs.
That is
a lot of home runs. It's a guy who has, been exposed as a cheat.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Why would he be a Hall of Famer and the other guy's not?
Because maybe he admitted it.
Does that make him less enabled or empowered to hit home runs because of unnaturally?
He's never admitted it?
I don't think he's admitted it. I think that he's paid for it, right? He was suspended, correct? He served a suspension. I don't know how you could suggest he's a Hall of Famer and the other guys aren't.
I didn't say he is. I asked the question.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, David Ortiz says he never knowingly took steroids.
Right. Were you buying that?
No.
You've had enough.
Here, Cap, take this. What's in it? Don't worry about it. Just take it.
Don't worry about it. Boom, Cap hits 2 home runs. Boom, hits 2 more. Boom, he's an all-star. What am I taking? You never ask. I don't know. I don't know. Big Papi's been good for Boston. He has been tremendous ambassador for the Red Sox.
Well, after the horrific Boston Marathon,
that was a moment.
Explosions. He was unbelievable.
Yeah,
when he dropped the F-bomb. And Boston strong. Everybody rallied around that.
People rallied around him, and I am not a Bostonian, but I can appreciate what that means to a city. But I'm not going to, overlook it for him and not everybody else. It's the same boat as A-Rod for me, right?
Yep.
All right, we got to talk about this. It's another sort of White Sox-related note, but Cleveland, you see the baseball executives are moving around. It's hopscotch. Mark Shapiro goes from the Indians to the Blue Jays. Mm-hmm. He will become the president. What a nice move. What a well-timed move for him. Hey, guys, I'm coming aboard in September. Yeah. Let's go to the World Series. Do I get a ring?
Get my ring.
Yeah. So he's leaving Cleveland for Toronto, which will squelch and kill speculation that Kenny Williams, who was rumored to be a candidate in Toronto, as well as Seattle, and now Cleveland. No, we haven't heard anything like that. But
no shot.
No shot?
I would be shocked if Kenny.
His name will come up at any vacancy in this offseason for an executive role because the rumor is out that he is antsy, maybe not content with just being
an upper management executive,
sort of a president that is overseeing things. He wants to be in the mix more. So, but you eliminate one job from that possibility. From that possible list, Toronto Blue Jays have their president, Mark Shapiro. That's an interesting move. Classy guy. You ever deal with him a little bit?
Mark Shapiro?
Yeah.
No.
He's really good dude.
Loved him in Moneyball.
Who played him?
I don't remember who played him when he traded Ricardo Rincon.
Yeah. He's
a luxury you can't afford, Billy.
Blue Jays are rolling, but I think, Kenny, you'll hear his name in Seattle. Did you hear who else was mentioned as far as a Mariners possibility for GM? Your guy. Surprised you didn't get
Hendry?
this. Yeah, Jim Hendry.
Really?
Yep. He was rumored on the list. Jason McLeod's name came up, I think, in a report. Pat Gillick was mentioned. There's a long list.
How about that?
I don't know how viable it is, but Kenny Williams.
You have a wonderful day, buddy.
Yeah, you too. Good to have you back.
You too. It's good to be back. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, Cap and Haugh brought to you by Horowitz and Associates, only top personal injury lawyers. Largest verdict for a brain injury in Illinois history, largest verdict for a back injury in Illinois history, and the largest verdict for a neck injury in Illinois history. That's the Triple Crown of lawyering. Horowitz and Associates. These guys win. Tom Brenneman in our studio tomorrow at 9:40, plus more high.
That'll be fun.
Merriment. Have a good day.
Yep, thanks
you
for
writing
watching.
for tomorrow?
No.
All right, unless some other story breaks.
That's right.
Have a good day. See you.
All right. Well, see you later.
Cap and Haugh on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by Horowitz and Associates, Illinois' top personal injury lawyers.
Are you happy with your bathroom? I wasn't. But for years, I didn't do anything about it. Like many people, I thought I didn't have the money until I learned about the brilliant solution from Bathfitter. Bathfitter puts a new bathtub right over your old one. Isn't that amazing? Bathfitter will measure and make you a new custom bathtub that they install right over your existing one with beautiful matching walls. That means you don't have to rip out your old tub, so there's no demolition or ridiculous costs. And they do it all in just one day. That's my favorite part. Plus, you get to choose everything. Book a free consultation and find out for yourself. Here's a before and after photo. This is a gorgeous acrylic tub that fit right over the old one. And only Bathfitter has seamless walls, which guarantee a watertight fit. When you change your tub, you change your bathroom, and that can change your life. I know because I did it. Call today or learn more at bathfitternow.com.
Apt, Chicagoland's #1 destination for the perfect home. See the largest selection of appliances on display. If you need a new refrigerator, range, washer dryer, dishwasher, or want to remodel your entire kitchen, we have everything you need to make your dream home come to life. For free home delivery, professional installation, and a better experience, shop Apt. Pleasing people since 1930.
At DirecTV, we believe giving a smile to a sick child is the least we can do. We believe logging tens of thousands of hours building homes and playgrounds defines our true spirit. That providing job opportunities for disabled Americans is the best way to celebrate diversity. And that being named one of the top 50 most community-minded companies in the U.S. means we're doing something right. Because we believe there's no place for ordinary when you entertain the extraordinary. Don't just watch TV. DirecTV.
An important message for Americans in need of health insurance. If there's been a recent change in your life, you are eligible for immediate protection under the Affordable Care Act. If you're uninsured because you missed the enrollment deadline, we can help. To get the protection you need, you can visit the Healthcare Exchange and spend hours exploring your options. Or you can make a single call to Health Markets and let us do the legwork for you at no cost or obligation. Health Markets Insurance Agency searches thousands of health insurance plans on the exchange and off from more than 120 leading companies like United Healthcare, Humana, and more. We'll find you the right insurance coverage and guarantee the lowest price for plans we offer. And if you qualify for a government subsidy, we'll make sure you get the tax credits you deserve. Talk to us on the phone or meet with a local licensed representative. Why pay more than you have to or risk going without the coverage you need? Put our free service to work for you.
Call the number on your screen now. Operators are standing by. Get the coverage you need. Call now.
I'm Jake Arrieta, and you're watching the home of Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago.